wanna stay here, stay here, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul. I don't wanna stay here, stay here, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here.
This land we dwelling in, flipped on us for ruin, flipping. Just to have good times like sheep fan music. That goes, leave your kids behind, new state of mind. The new family reunion is gathering at a funeral viewing. I want to be like some of my ancestors, like the one that seen the land. Joshua Caleb, don't stop me from moving Jerusalem. What about unbiblical? Not biased, the young always inherit the revolution. I'm Huey P. Newton. Lifestyle we living in, can't wait to exit out. Mankind went from being potty trained to a potty mouth. Literally from pull-ups, and now we pulling up. Don't let that pride rise. Nope, cause death coming down plain sight like skydive. Can't even catch a plane. Nope, coronavirus get contact through a high five. Or in your area, God, I pray that you hearing us. Psalm 91, you my refuge, and it won't draw nigh. Keep the laws of the Most High. Yeah.
Stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul. I don't wanna stay here, stay here, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here. I don't wanna rest my soul, stay here.
This nation wicked, always been about power, cashless society. No more change for $1. Took a couple dollars, got a sex change. Man, the world is same-sex marriage is approved by the judge. Got all these proverbs, let the world know. Be the children, niggas, black color, afro, even light skin. The system keeps sketching up jokes and living color. Y'all can do them like Jada Pickett, put a shame on them up. It's funny how rules can turn their back on it, turn right back around when he needs something from it. Bit that he ain't never feed, plays the allegiance. He can't say just cause he's black, he's part of the reason. Hasatan got them chemtrails altering seasons. Now I'm giving you some meat, come bring me the season. Recipe to the kingdom, Torah, I'ma receive it. Sitting next to my master like car visa. They hate when I'm in my word and bring it closer. Wishing burden on my shoulders as heavy as boulders. Like even when good, caught in the eyes of the beholder. Fill me with your spirit, y'all, my cup runneth over.
I remember growing up, I used to have no shame on me. Walk around with attitude, but now I got the game on me. All the light of the weather, darkness is afraid of me. Texas strong like the giant marching through the city. Them problems in the past, you gotta let it go. Then walk into love, be genuine and trust. Wanna wear a car repair, multi-line depend on it. Repenting mean to turn away from sinning. Not go back to it, stay here, stay here. I don't wanna stay here. The Father got his son on his way here. You better get your lungs and put your armor on it too. And I just know that I don't wanna rest my soul, rest my soul. I don't wanna rest my soul and stay here. Yeah.
Yeah, so with that being said, why stay here? I mean, I said it best. In my father's house, there are many mansions. If it wasn't so, I would have told you. So if he's going to prepare a place for us, why do we want to remain here and be complacent? Right? My whole life, your whole life, we have to fight this battle. That sound like Color Purple on it. All my life I have to fight. But now I know, like, this whole life that we've been living, there's purpose within it. And if you can endure to the end, you shall be saved. That's how I look at it. So let's proceed, man. More stuff. Load. Bread tape. Food spit. Let's go.
Shalom, shalom, fam. Shalom,
Shalom.
shalom, shalom. Shalom, everybody. Thanks for tuning in tonight. So, see, there's some static. So I'm gonna try to change the mic thing up real quick. So they saying it's kind of static or whatever. So
Should I be checking my mic out?
say it again out.
Should I check my mic?
Nah. Last week it was like that, and I messed around with these settings a little bit, and they said it was cool after that. So
okay.
I'm gonna just try a different one. right, shalom, shalom. Hey, y'all in the listening audience, let me know how it sounds now. Is it still static, or can y'all hear me and Elijah okay?
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, family. How we sounding? Sounding a little better? Is it still static? What is it looking like? Just let us know in the comments when you can. Let us know in the comments, fam. Still static, huh? All right, let me try this next one real quick. Okay. Let me try another one. All right, so, okay. How we sounding now? Still static? Is that a little better? I just switched up the microphone again to another setting. So let me know if it's better. Is this any better, y'all? Just let me know.
It's kind of sounding the same to me, y'all.
Okay. I kind of feel like me and you probably can't hear it, but they can hear it on the other side. Is what I'm thinking. All right. So still a little bit. Y'all can hear me clear. Y'all can hear both of us clear. Cool. All right. I think we're gonna have to roll with this one because look like it's only about 3 different settings I can choose from, and I just picked all 3, and it was still a little static in each one. So I think this one is probably the best one.
I'm wondering if it might be on my end. You don't think it's on my end? My end?
I don't think so. But hold on, I'm about to try one more thing that I just noticed. Okay. All right, just try one more thing. So let me know how good. I hear myself now.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you, but I hear myself is like echoing. So that's probably not a good one. All right.
It seemed like it went down a little bit though.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cause I was hearing it a lot too. I don't hear it now.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, we'll just roll with this, man. If we need to change it up in the future, then we'll do that. Like a little bit later throughout the show, I mean.
Let's start. 1 second.
All right. All right, family. Hopefully, I don't know. For some reason, I keep myself repeating. You don't hear me twice.
Say that
Like
again, Up.
if I say something, then the same sound echo back. I'm gonna hear myself saying the same thing I just said.
Okay.
I guess only I can hear it, but
What about now?
okay. Yeah, it's much better now. Whatever just happened, at least on my end. I don't know about on your end and everybody in the listening audience, but on my end, it just got much better. Whatever you did got much better.
Okay.
How y'all feel before we start? Is that much better? It's much better for me. You say that's good? Cool. I think we're gonna be good to go then. Yep. Whatever we got going on, I think this is the setting we need right here.
That's
So
where
yeah,
we at. That's where we at.
whatever you did, yeah, that's good. Cool. All right, sounds good. Well, praise the Almighty for that. You know what I'm saying? I'll praise to the Most High for that. All praise to the Most High, as in always, giving all honor and praise to the Most High Yahweh. Um, Definitely glad to be here tonight. To, as always, Israelnoww podcast, come before you, just trying to edify the people, trying to bring knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to our people so we can continue to wake up out of this sleep and slumber that we've been in for over 400 years, that we've been in this land of our captivity. Time to wake up and realize who the Almighty is and who we are, you know,
Right.
and turn back to the Almighty, turn back to Yahweh Eloheinu, which is Yahweh our Elohim, you know, our Elohim, turn back to the Almighty, turn back to our ways, our customs, our culture, the Almighty's commandments, turn back into the scriptures of truth, which is supposed to lead and guide our lives. And that's what we endeavor to do each and every week that we bring forth this podcast to the people. So, to be honest, I didn't really have too much today, just a little bit, you know, that we'll deal with. We're going to deal with the men a little bit, some things concerning men. You know, we're going to chop it up. When you chop it up, you chime in, I chime in, we throw out a couple scriptures I kind of wanted to deal with, you know what I'm saying, get your perspective on it as well. And just kind of chop it up on these scriptures, man. But really, I feel like anything that our people are doing when the men take their rightful position as the leaders and the heads of the household and of the family, we got to lead our women and our children, then everything else is going to fall into play. You know what I'm saying? Once the men take their head and take their leadership, which we should be doing.
Absolutely.
You know, so therefore we definitely wanted to deal with the men because, you know, but in dealing with the men, you deal with the whole family structure. You know what I'm saying? Everything will
Huh.
fall into play. The women is
Huh.
gonna fall into play when the men is in line.
Huh.
So we're gonna talk about some things of what we should be doing as men and what this walk should look like as a man. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not Christian, so we don't have that Christian spirit. We have a spirit of, you know what I'm saying, the spirit of the Almighty gave us. The Almighty says, I didn't give you the spirit of fear. You know what I'm saying? But a sound mind. So, you know what I'm saying? When you have the spirit of the Almighty, it's not a Christian spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's not a
Huh.
spirit that is, you know, docile in the face of adversity. You know what I'm saying? We
Yep.
should definitely be, you know, family men as far as our family, our women, and everybody is cool and safe and secure around us because that's what a man is supposed to provide protection and leadership and guidance to his family. You know, but it shouldn't be that Christian spirit that our people have in the modern day Christian church, where like all the men are very, not all of them, but a large portion of the men are very effeminate. You
Absolutely.
know, we don't need that
Absolutely.
spirit. That spirit is not of the Almighty.
Right.
Um, you know that you're not ready to lead if you are, you know, in having the same spirit as our women. So,
Right.
yeah, so I guess we're gonna get into it. I really wanted to go into Genesis 14. Let's start there. I want to chop it up about Genesis 14 because a lot of people know about Abraham in the scriptures. A lot of people talk about Abraham, but to me, I never hear this brought up of Genesis 14, what Abraham did. Now, I
Okay.
do hear Genesis 14 brought up about Abraham meeting Melchizedek and paying Melchizedek tithes. That's also in Genesis 14. But let's start at verse 1 because all I ever hear people talk about is Abraham had faith, faith
Right.
in Abraham, this and that, which is a
Right.
great thing, absolutely a great thing.
Right.
But I never hear this side of Abraham, which we're about to read. So let's
Right.
start at Genesis 14, chapter number 14, and verse 1, and we're going to read on
Okay.
down.
All right. Genesis chapter 14, verse 1. And it came to pass in the days of Amraphel, king of Shinar, Arioch, king of Elazar, Chedorlaomer, king of Elam, and Tidal, king of nations. That these made war with Bera, king of Sodom, and with Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemeber, king of Zeboam, and the king of Bala, which is Zoar. All these were joined together in the vale of Siddim, which is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and in the 13th year they rebelled. And in the 14th year came Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him, and smote the Rephaims in Asheroth Karnaim, and the Zuzims in Ham, and the Emims in Shaveh, Kiriathaim, and the Horites in their Mount Seir unto Elpharon, which is by the wilderness. And they returned and came to En Mishpat, which is Kadesh, and smote all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites that dwelt in Hazan Tamar. I feel like my today.
Right. I already know, bro. Boys be hard sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. And there went out the king of Sodom, and the king of Gomorrah, and the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboam, and the king of Bela, the same as Zoar, and they joined battle with them in the vale of Siddim. With Shadar Laomer, the king of Elam, and with Tidal, king of nations, and Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Ariot, king of Elasar, 4 kings with 5. And the vale of Siddim was full of slime pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, and fell there, and they that remained fled to the mountain. And they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah, and all their victuals, and went their way. And they took Lot, Abraham's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods, and departed.
Now they took Lot, Abraham's nephew, Abraham's brother's son. Right? So they not only was taking down people and nations and taking the spoil, taking the substance and things they had, they also taking captives, right? So now they
Right,
took Lot captive. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep going. We see that Lot is now captive now.
right. Okay. And there came one that had this verse 13. And there came one that had escaped, and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt in the plain of Mamre the Amorite, brother of Eshcol, and brother of Aner, and these were confederate with Abram. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318, and pursued them unto Dan.
So now he's like, look, they got your nephew, right? They took Lot, Abraham's nephew.
Yep.
Abraham armed his men, 318 men. He's like, they got my nephew, we going to get him. Right? So let's see
Yep.
what happens, right?
Verse 15. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants, by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. Verse 16. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people.
So see,
And the
Abraham
king,
went out, he took his men, and he went out and he brought back Lot, right? He went back and rescued his nephew from the capture of these people who captured. You know what I'm saying? And he took his men, they armed themselves, he brought back the goods, and he brought back his nephew.
now he was going against what, 5 kings?
Dang, yep, 5 kings.
And it was him and 300 men.
Yep, yep,
This ain't no weak dude.
right, exactly.
This ain't no weak dude.
The way that they portray Abraham is just faithful and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Just,
right.
this guys sit down. Like you never see this type of stuff brought out. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see
Right,
this brought out. But yeah, like you said, he took his 318 men. He went back and you see he rescued his nephew, and he destroyed 5 kings in the process.
right,
So yeah, yeah. I just wanted to bring this out. So and then after that is what everybody get into with him meeting Melchizedek and things like that.
right,
You know, he
right,
just came back from the battle. He just came back from the war. You know what
right.
I'm saying? And so yeah, let's pick up where we left off right there.
Verse 17. And the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him at the valley of Shiva, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High God, the
This is
Most
what
High
most people
Elohim.
know. Most people know about this, right? When we get to the
Right,
18th verse. But they
right,
skip 1 through 17, you know
right,
what I'm saying? Seeing that what type of man Abraham really was, you know what I mean? Because
right,
one of the captors, he escaped. He went and told Abraham, look, this is what they doing. They even captured your nephew. Abraham got his men, loaded up, and went and handled business. You know what I'm
Now,
saying? Got his nephew back.
I don't want to go too far off topic, but are we given another name here for Nimrod?
Which one? Where at?
I feel like, well, so here's the thing. So I feel like, wasn't it Nimrod who was after Abraham when he was born in the book of Jasher?
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
So remember when his men, his astrologers had showed him what the stars meant,
Mm-hmm.
that he wanted to kill Abraham, and so Terah had to
Right.
sneak him out.
Right, because they knew like this night, deliverer gonna be born or something like that.
Right,
Some of
right,
that, yeah,
right.
yeah, right.
So I'm feeling like this was the prophecy fulfilled in him destroying those kings.
Can, yep, yep. I can see that. Yep, I can see that for sure. Yep. So let's just finish this whole chapter out.
Okay. Verse 19. And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of the Most High Elohim, possessor of heaven and earth. And blessed be the Most High Elohim, which hath delivered thy enemies into thy hand. And he gave them tithes of all. And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lift up my hand unto Yahweh, the Most High Elohim, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich, save only that which the young men have eaten, and the portion of the men which went with me, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion.
Cool, cool. So we see what type of man Abraham was, right?
Right,
Just by
right,
this chapter, you just get a glimpse of his character and how he was. You know,
right,
he believed in the Most High. He didn't want to take nothing from the man, or because you gonna say you made me rich.
right,
You know what I mean? He's giving credit and honor to the Almighty Yahweh. He said, the Most High made me rich. The
right,
Almighty gave me all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to allow you to take that credit. So I ain't
right,
taking nothing from you, right? Outside of what my men, you know what I'm saying, ate and whatever. I guess we'll restore that, and that's it. You know, we'll come even on that, and that's it. So
uh,
yeah, so after the war, he met Melchizedek, who was a priest of the Almighty. He of course paid tithes to him and this and that. Now he, you know what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me what I just said in the synagogue yesterday. You know what I'm saying? He like you do this, and now you right back to the spiritual thing. You right
right,
back to
right,
what
right,
you do.
right,
But he had to
right.
get his nephew first. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? We was on that same type of mission too. Like this reading is really remind me of the same mission for real. You
Uh,
know what I'm saying? The exact
uh,
same mission. But yeah, we're gonna deal with men today, man. You know what I'm saying? Like how men supposed to be, how men supposed to look, how we supposed to treat our wives, how we supposed to act, and how we supposed to lead our family. You
right,
know what I'm saying? And how we supposed to unite and band together and
right,
not be against one another. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot
right,
of that within the Israelite community. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of that. You know, a lot of people, it's just like anywhere else in the world, to be honest. You know what I mean? People have taken hold of the knowledge, but haven't taken hold of the spirituality. When you taking hold of the knowledge only, then you realize, wait a minute, it does make sense. We are the Israelites, but you
mm-hmm,
never had that. that born again experience where you actually die to yourself and you live for the Almighty, then you're going to continuously be that same person. You just understand that the prophecy stood us. You know what I'm saying?
Con,
There was never a real lifestyle change. So that's what we're looking for. Men of integrity with a real lifestyle change. And
right,
that's what we're
right.
going for.
There's a difference between black and being an Israelite or a Hebrew. Like a lot of people want to be black, but that don't come with any kind of morals, no
Exactly.
codes, no
Right.
nothing.
Dang.
Only what the world give us, right?
Dang.
But if we accept our true nationality, then we can become men again because we standing on what we believe, right?
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. That's real. Black don't give us nothing. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? It don't give. Somebody call you black, it don't connect. There's no spirituality to that word. There's nothing that's gonna make you do better. You know what I'm saying?
right,
Yep. Because remember, words have power, right? The
yep,
scripture says death and life is in the power of the tongue. So
con,
don't call me black, call me an Israelite.
right,
Israelite means he who prevails with Elohim and with men. Call me an Israelite. You know what I'm saying?
con,
Call me Yahshua. Call me by my Hebrew name. Call
con,
people Ephraim. You know what I'm saying? All these different Hebrew names.
con.
Yokanah, all of these Hebrew names. Because when you call them that, you are speaking that into their life. Because
Yes,
these names have righteous and holy meanings. And every time you say that person's name, you're speaking that into their life.
con,
Yeah, yeah. That's real.
yep.
That's real. Yep. Hey, I
Where we
like
at
that.
now?
Like I said, being black don't come with no land. Exactly. That's
Nothing,
right. That's a great
nothing,
point. No land, no language, no culture, no God, no nothing. You know what I
nothing.
mean? Exactly. But once you say Israel, we got a language, we got a land, we got a culture, we got an ethnicity, we got everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything is restored by calling us our proper name. Everything is restored. Now we know
yep,
where to look to. Now we know what culture to turn to. Now we learn how, okay, if we Israel, then who is our Elohim? Oh, Yahweh is our Elohim. Now that we
yep,
Israel, what is our what is our textbook of truth? The scriptures is our textbook.
yep,
And within the
yep,
scriptures, it's going to tell you how to treat your
yep.
wife, how to do everything you need to do. What,
Ah,
what not to eat, everything.
it's a treasure. It's a
Yeah,
treasure. You open it up and you just see so many different things. Like you get excited with everything there.
okay.
Like it's literally a treasure.
Right, right.
Remind me of Matthew. What is it? Matthew 13, where the
Mm,
man he once he found the land or once he found the pearls he sold, he gave everything. Like I'm giving all this black back. I'm gonna take this.
right,
Y'all can keep all that.
right. Yeah, yeah, that's good stuff, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Nationality is very important, man, especially when you're an Israelite, because we the people that's been cut off around the world. You know what I'm saying?
Come on.
Everybody else know who they are. Everybody else is pretty much in their own land that they were given all the way back from Genesis 10. You
Come on.
know, for the most part, pretty much. You know, the major nations are pretty much there. So, yep. The people that were scattered. This is why scattering, man, is so detrimental. You know what I'm saying? Like, it totally disconnected us to everything that was ours. So when you
Right.
think about it, if we wasn't scattered, but we were just occupied, meaning, 2,000 years ago, when we read in the so-called New Testament, our people during that time were being ruled by the Romans, but in their own land. That's
Right.
called an occupation. They're being
Right.
occupied. The
Right.
Romans are controlling them, but they're being controlled within their own land.
Right.
But even when you're occupied, you still realize, well, wait a minute, I'm in Israel, I must be an Israelite.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, he
Yeah.
scattered us far from our borders.
Yep.
So, you know what I'm saying? We had no connection with anything that was originally ours.
Yep. And like you said, how they scattered us far from our borders. I just want to point out to anybody listening that that's prophecy. We can see that in Joel 3,
Dang.
where we're gonna be scattered far from our border.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
literally where we are.
Yep.
And Isaiah 11. I know a lot of people they don't want to trust the scriptures. They want to trust in this energy stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The universe,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the scripture is it has prophesied this.
Dang.
Like this is something we can trust. Like,
Yep.
all right. So when you go to these other like another state and you got like Chinatown, you got they setting up Little Italy, they setting up their own little towns, but that's their culture.
Mm-hmm.
So them so them having a culture gives them a pridefulness. Like y'all need to taste how we cook. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Y'all
right,
need to come to this club and see how we get down.
right,
Like
right,
we don't have that. So we don't have any pride about who we are.
right.
And that's a prophecy right there.
Yep, yep,
We will
yep,
lose our culture and our heritage. We
yep,
will hate each other.
yep,
You know what I'm saying? If we understand who we are, then that'll restore the pride that we have in our own culture.
right,
And not only that, it's the greatest, it's the best.
yep. So if you know what we've been reduced to, our people around the country has been reduced to claiming the ghetto that they grew up in whatever major city they from. You know
Right,
what I'm saying? I don't know
right,
the names of all these ghettos around the country, but I can just speak on the city I grew up in. People be
right,
claiming that, like I'm from the Bay, I'm from Lincoln Heights, I'm from
right,
Wheatville, I'm from Millville.
right,
These were just ghettos that the Europeans put you in to keep you poor and keep you downtrodden and keep you like crabs in a
right,
barrel. And that's
right.
what we're claiming. You know what I'm
Yep,
saying? That's what they are proud of now. That's what our people looking to. So we fell a mighty, mighty long way. We
yep,
fell a mighty long way. You
yep,
know, to where, you know what I'm saying, it's hate between brothers all on the streets that don't know the Israel, and they'll shoot each other over nothing.
yep,
Over nothing. You know?
yep. And just having too much pride, like you know what? Sometimes I'll ask a brother if he need help, and I know he need help, but he got too much pride. He don't want to receive it from his brother.
Right, right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Or even like if I'm like my neighbor, like if I go to the neighbor and I want to tell him something like, hey, I think maybe this is causing if I want to just say for example property value, like bro, can you think about this because it's affecting everybody's property value. He rather would not hear from me. It'll have to be like a woman or an elder, but he can't receive it from his brother.
Yeah, yeah. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Like
yep,
that,
yep.
it's
I feel
crazy.
you, Rock. I know what you're saying, Rock. Hey, shalom, shalom. I see my people tuning in. Thanks for y'all tuning in. Let's continue to band together. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue to unite. Let's come together and let's start to do some things that we need to do as a people. Let's start to put some plans together. What the scriptures say: without a vision, the people perish. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Those of us
Fine.
at Israel now, we have a vision that we're looking to and we're trying to do. Um, those that want to become a part of us and a part of what we're doing, reach out to us. You know what I'm saying? Like reach out if you're really sincere about this truth and you're sincere about doing something more than just the status quo. You're sincere about these scriptures and truly learning the truth of the scriptures, and you see what's going on in the world, and you need answers to how are we gonna preserve ourselves in these last days, and reach out to us. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's you, if what I'm describing is you, reach out to us and connect with us and join on to what we're doing. You know what I'm saying?
Fine.
If that's not you,
Fine.
then your spirit don't connect to that right now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But hey, you can just enjoy the podcast, enjoy the scriptures that we bring out, whether you agree or disagree. You know what I mean? And that be that. But we
Fine.
understand there are many different doctrines in Israel, and when we really get down to it, we're all teaching something different. We all believe something different, and um, to be perfectly honest, you know, we don't teach a lot of the mainstream things that you see out there on YouTube. Like, we don't believe most of that stuff. And throughout these podcasts, we're going to be dealing with a lot of it from week to week. You know what I'm saying? We're going to definitely deal with a lot of it from week to week. So just stay tuned for that. But, hey, I wanted to go to, I wanted to hit this, what is it? Trying to think of which one I want to go to. Let's just go to Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 9.
Proverbs 3.
Yep. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 through 9.
All right.
Which is,
I'm there.
okay, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Proverbs 3. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in Yahweh with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear Yahweh and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Honor Yahweh with thy substance and with the first fruits of all thine increase.
Yeah. So I really like that verse, man. It gives a lot of good information within these few verses. Um, for some reason, that verse, trust in Yahweh with all thy heart and lean not into thy own understanding. That verse, when I first read it many years ago, just always really stood out for me. That was like a verse that I just always remembered when I first read it, and it really always stood out to me. You know what I'm
Con,
saying? Just to really just trust in the Almighty and don't trust in yourself. Trust in the Almighty with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding.
con,
You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, that's when the Almighty's going to bless you with wisdom. You know what I'm saying? And knowledge and
yep,
understanding. Because you
yep,
get blessed with the wisdom when you start to keep the commandments. When
yep,
you keep the commandments, which let the Almighty know you trusted in Him with all your heart.
yep,
So yeah, so all those verses, man, are really, really deep. They kind of self-explanatory, so we ain't really got to break them down like that. But I
right,
could definitely, I'm sure everybody understands these verses, but really apply these things to your life. Honor the Almighty with all your stuff. You know what I'm saying? Everything that is said there, I really, really like those verses, and it's only about those that are, what the scripture say, doers of the word and not hearers only. And
right,
that's
right,
right.
right. It reminds me of that mustard seed faith, because once you just have a little faith, but you trust not, you lean not on your own understanding, so you digging into the word to get the understanding, and then that tree start to grow, because now, as you continue to study up, your faith is growing. The Most High start doing stuff in your life.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Just by you not trusting in your own understanding and just really trying to get the answers from the script.
Yep. Yep.
Sometimes you
Absolutely.
won't understand it right away, but if you just be diligent, right,
Yep.
and keep going, just give it another day,
Mm-hmm.
just 15 more minutes, you know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Right.
Like he
Right.
start working things out for you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. That's right.
Yep.
So what we need to do, man, is me and what we gotta protect. You know what I'm saying? We gotta lead our family, but we gotta
Yep.
unite together. You know what I'm saying? We gotta unite together.
Yep.
And the unity comes, it all starts with us. The women gonna follow. When we doing what we gotta do, they gonna
Yep.
follow. But guess what? You know how the scripture says, um, the Messiah is the head of the man is head of the
Yep.
woman over the children, right? Or husband and wife over the children. But it's like this though. If we not following the Messiah,
Right.
then the chain is broken. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? The chain is broken. Now we out of order. Now she
Yep.
possibly could get out of order.
Yep.
But out of line. You know what I'm saying? But as
Yep.
long as we follow the Messiah, then she follow us. And then we all as men, we come together. We bring wives, we bring families, we bring children, and we all connect together as brothers.
Huh.
And we all, you know what I'm saying, do what we
Yep.
gotta do. Like, cause I'm really thinking, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, we in these last days, and most of our people don't really see what's really going on in this world and really have no plans and no contingency plans to preserve themselves. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? True
Right.
leaders have contingency plans for the people. It's like,
Right.
hey, we need to be doing this. And if this happens, we need to be doing this.
Right.
If
Right.
this happens, we need to be doing this. This is why people did throughout the scripture. Why do you think when Abraham found out that Lot was taken, that he could just say, all right, let's go and take 318 men? Because
No.
they already been ready. They already been
Uh,
when you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
yeah. Yeah.
He didn't just decide that right then there, like, let me go find 318 people. It don't
No.
work like that. It
No.
don't work like that at all. They was
No.
already ready. You know what I'm saying? And
It,
this is
this
what our people need to be already ready.
the scripture said it. He said 300 trained men.
Exactly.
They
Train
were
you. We was
trained.
already trained, bro.
They was ready to go.
How many of our people are training right now? You know what I'm saying? Like for real.
Yep.
How many people in the truth are trained? How
Yep.
many people in the truth are ready to battle spiritually? How
Right.
many people are ready to battle physically? How
Right.
many people are trained for
Right.
any of this stuff? You
Right.
gotta, and guess what? You gotta train spiritually too. People don't
Yeah.
know. People be trying to open up the book and do this, and they are trying to debate and come back. They ain't even trained spiritually.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just
Right.
open up the book and start talking and think, you know what I'm saying, somebody
Right.
gonna lay down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nah, you gotta train for that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
train
that's
in
what I was.
everything
I
and
was
train.
just telling. I was telling my wife and my mother-in-law, that fasting is a big part of that. because
Dang.
you got to be able to put away the flesh.
Yep.
If you can't tell your flesh no,
Yep.
you're done.
You're done. Right.
You got to be able, and we all got some bad habits. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
We all, but we got to be able to say no to the flesh and suppress this thing.
Hey,
And
that's what
fast,
Satan depend on. Satan depending on you not be able to tell your flesh no.
right?
Well, you can't tell your flesh no.
Yep,
As soon as you drive down the street, what you see? McDonald's, Taco
yep,
Bell. It's all you see.
yep.
And if food is not your thing, then hey, it might not be too bad now, but wait till the summertime.
Right,
Out
right.
down the street, women walking around with shorts on, and them shorts are so short, you see the bottom of their butt cheeks.
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on, like you know what I'm saying? Like our people have failed to a super low state.
yeah.
When back in the day, a woman would have been embarrassed to walk around showing their butt cheeks.
Right,
You
right,
know what I'm saying? Like you literally supposed to be embarrassed for your shorts to be that small. That your butt cheeks literally stick out.
right.
Like those are not
Yeah,
shorts, those are panties at that point.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I'm
But they're not ashamed at all.
saying? Yeah,
Just,
exactly.
but just
Exactly.
look at
So it's
that.
like who's raising these women? Like where are the fathers? That's why I say start with men.
Yeah,
Because I've seen women, um, single mothers, actually raising their daughters and allow them to dress like that outside.
yeah, yeah,
I ain't
yeah.
seen no fathers, whether the father's in truth or not. I ain't seen no fathers that's gonna let his 17-year-old daughter walk out the house with her butt cheeks showing. You know
Nope.
what I'm saying? Like that's why the men are so important. We're not gonna put up with certain things. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? If we're not gonna put up with now, society is gonna look totally different. So you gotta get the fathers back in the home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we bring in that knowledge too. Like I mean, I know everybody has a different role in their household, but like I believe it's a commandment for us to teach our children the way of the Most High. It's a commandment.
Absolutely, Deuteronomy 8.
Yeah. So if we not teaching our children, so I took Mackenzie. We went to the mall or whatever, and she grabbed these little fidget things for her little Crocs. You put in the Crocs, and it had the rainbow on there, and it had love is love. And so she probably didn't make the connection of what she was purchasing, but I went ahead and broke it down to her like because they take everything that belongs to the Most High and pervert it.
Right,
And so
right,
and
right.
so we still don't get me, we still bought it, you know what I mean? I still let her get it so she can do her little Crocs thing, but I made sure she understood the truth.
Because
And
it's
then
a shame. I think I'm gonna let you finish out, but it's a shame that people look at the rainbow now and think of gay people. When you're
exactly,
supposed to look at the rainbow and think of the covenant that the Almighty made with us.
exactly,
Yeah, that's a shame.
exactly.
Yep.
And so it's those moments like that too where the men need to be in the house because we constantly that's who we are. It's like men, they'll have so much pride. They'll be studied up for 2 years and think they can come debate you, Yash. But
Right.
guess what? Just go home and teach your kids.
Right.
And
Right.
you can still feel good about teaching somebody.
Right. Right. Exactly.
You know what I
Hey, that's
mean?
a good point, bro. Exactly. Right. Yep. Hey,
And
that's
then you're
real,
gonna
huh?
learn. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. That's real. Hey, so let's hit this. Genesis 2:18 through 20.
Genesis 2.
Yep. Genesis 2:18 through 20. Yeah, yeah. I think that what you mentioned earlier was Deuteronomy 8 or Deuteronomy 6. It's one of them, but the Almighty say, y'all shall you shall teach these things, like to your children, as you lie down, as you rise up,
Right.
walk by the
Yep.
way. He's pretty
Yep.
much saying all day, every day, you
Yep.
supposed to be giving your kids game. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Like people did in the streets, they'll give you game, but not that type of game. You supposed to be teaching your kids like, look, these are friends. Most High commanded to wear 'em. Look,
Right.
we can't covet. We can't covet what our neighbor has. Like if you want that, you go get your own stuff. You work for it. You don't covet any other man's stuff. But now that's gonna lead to stealing. All of these things we gotta continually instill in our people. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
All day long. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
And that's what it takes. And when we look at this Babylonian system, that's what they trying to do. They trying to take our kids and have them all day, and they instilling their stuff in them.
Yeah,
Then
yeah, yeah,
and then
yeah.
even at home, they sit down and watch TV, or if they playing the video games, they still instilling their stuff in them.
Right, right,
Like that's why I spend so much time with my children, showing them the symbolisms in their games and on TV, so that
right.
I can still, I can be teaching them at the same time. Like I'm not just gonna let Babylon teach my children, but
Yeah,
I'm in there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, right. Yep. Hey, that's real, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know, that they got us as the nation, not every one of us, but as the nation, they got us by the neck right now. You know
Right,
what I mean? Because
right,
the Almighty only made 24 hours in a day. So it's
right.
like, you know what I'm saying? 24 hours in a day. So then it's like, they got you working for 8 hours. They got you supposed to sleep for 8 hours. That's 16 hours.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? By the time you drive home, have dinner, this and that, like you
right.
literally be having only a few hours, but then you tired. So you know what I'm saying?
Yep,
We got it though. You know what I'm saying? We stay
yep.
prayed up on everything. We're gonna figure everything out and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? It's
Hallelujah.
just you can't um you can't chase this American dream. That's the problem. You chase the
Right,
American dream and the American
right,
lifestyle, you're gonna do that till you're 60 something.
right.
You know what I'm saying? And the average person do that, you run the rat race until you about 65, 67, whatever retirement is now. If you
Yep.
run that rat race until then, you're going to be tired. And as soon as you retire, you know how many people die shortly after they retire?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's sad. I've
Yeah,
met a couple elders that been through that.
yeah. That's super sad. As soon
Yep,
as you feel like I got money coming in every month from retirement, I can finally live my life, do what I want, sit back. I've been working for this man for 40 years, 40 hours a week.
yep,
Now, boom, I'm retired. 2 months later, you got cancer. 6 months, 8 months later, you out of here.
yep, yep,
That's a shame.
yep.
But guess what? The system was designed like that. How do you think you people could go to the doctor and the doctor could examine them and tell them you probably gonna live to be about 66 years old?
Right,
How do you think they can do that?
right,
Be accurate for the most part, like when you're dealing with as a whole. How can they do that and be accurate? You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right,
Because it's
right, right.
designed. It's all designed. They
It's
know the
all
food
designed.
you eating. Yeah, they know the food you're eating, the this and that,
Yep,
what you put into the food, how
yep,
long it's gonna take you for this, how long it's gonna take you for that.
yep.
Yeah.
Huh. You say Genesis 2, verse
18 through 20.
18 through 20.
Yeah.
And Yahweh Elohim said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him.
Now, I want to focus on that because literally that's what a woman is. When you have a wife, you have a helpmeet. You don't have an equal partner. I know America like to say that, and people like to say that. The man runs the household, the woman is the helpmeet. You know what I mean? Like she's a
Yeah,
helper. It's like an assistant. Whatever you desire to do, whatever vision you have for your family, now you got a partner likened unto yourself that is a helpmate. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Now
yeah,
the fact that we love our women and cherish our women, the fact of that, we're gonna listen to them and we're gonna consider their opinions and perspectives.
yeah.
But the decision is finalized with and through the man. You know what
Huh.
I'm saying? So for
Yeah,
women that are single still and you're looking for a husband, you have to look at whatever potential husband and say, is do this man seem righteous enough and wise enough and together enough to be able to for me to follow him, for me to say, even when I disagree, I have to
mhm.
follow him in his decision. If
Right.
you don't look at that man like that, if you look at that man like, I don't think he make good decisions. I think he a fool. Because women really think this about me.
Yeah,
They may
yeah,
like one thing, like, well, I think he attractive, so I'm gonna marry him. When you marrying somebody, you're literally saying, as a woman, you're literally saying, this person is my Lord, my master, my. That's what husband means in Hebrew. It means
right.
master. It means, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um, so that's literally what you're saying. And I think for women, when they think about it like that, if they really consider this, then they're gonna look at men as a different eye. They're gonna start to pick different men because women choose the wrong men all the time.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying? Like even
Yeah,
growing up from your youth and everything, it's like women, they be looking for you know how it is. They be looking
yep,
for maybe the drug dealer or somebody
yep,
like this, or
yep.
somebody who they perceive to be tough. It's not
Right,
really tough. Now you
right,
got 2 kids by him, and he locked up for 18 years.
right.
You know.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
this.
Go
It's
ahead.
crazy because, um, like my wife's, her mother, my mother-in-law is actually who introduced me and my wife.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Like, so it's like my wife, you know, she was picking the wrong ones. It took
Right,
moms,
right,
it took moms to be like, hey, you should meet my daughter. You know, I was
right.
like, all right, you know, the West is history, but
Hey,
I
see,
feel
hey,
you on
that's
that.
a great testimony. You know what I'm saying? So she was
Yeah,
older and able to see, like, yeah,
right.
that's good.
Yeah,
Hey, I like that. I didn't know that. Cool.
yeah. And she on point though. Like she's smart. You know what I'm saying? Like she we were talking about this the other day, and she is actually like the greatest partner that I could have asked for. You know, without
Yeah,
knowing, I didn't know what I needed,
right, right,
and we was messing it up in the beginning,
right,
and now we here, and I'm like, bro, like everything I need, you got it. Like that's
right,
crazy. You know
right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, dang.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
All praises, all praises.
Yeah, that's why we able to go strong. You know what I'm saying? We've been together since 2007, 2008.
Dang.
We were young. We were like
Yeah, right,
20,
right.
21 years old. You know what I'm saying? And we've been
Yeah,
able to just keep pushing.
dang, dang. Hey,
Yep.
it's a beautiful story, y'all. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? And we need to, even for real, to share them testimonies more among each other. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Among, the people that are in this truth and looking for a spouse that's single. And you know what I'm saying? It gives people hope. It's like another testimony that it can definitely happen. You know what I'm
Con.
saying? I know the world is just like, it's just bad because the morals of our people have truly um, vindicated. Hey, I know one of the sisters said, I heard a couple of them say, you know what I'm saying? They're looking for husband, this and that. And she said, it's funny, she said the dating pool has pee in it. And I always remember that phrase, man. It just took me out. It's funny, like the dating pool has pee in it. So,
Right.
but it's still some good women out there, and there's
Yeah.
still some good men out there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But
Yeah.
it's finding each other. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
making that connection and making
Yeah.
that, But along with it, it's like this: when we turn back to our ways, remember we from the east. We're not from the west. When
Right.
you go to the east right now, so when you go to somewhere like Saudi Arabia and places like that, right? It's like they, while they're not, um, Israelites per se. Of course, there's
Hmm.
maybe some Israelites there,
Hmm.
but they still live the type of customs that our people should be living and used to live that we
Con.
read in the scripture. And
Con.
I'm saying that, I'm saying like the women are young, they grew up in the house with their father. All the fathers are in the home, and pretty much the women are not like in America. You get 18, 20, and women are living by themselves. They just going to and fro doing
Right.
whatever they want to do.
Right.
Like it's
Right.
not like that there. It's like the women are in the house with their fathers, of course their mother too, but they're governed by their father. They're under the protection, the leadership, the rulership of their father. The father is the one that ensures his daughter's virginity. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
He gonna
Uh-huh.
watch out for. He gonna make sure, hey, you can't go here
Uh-huh.
over there, or you take your brother with you, your male cousin, somebody to watch over you, and then the women go from their father's house to their husband's house. You
Con.
know what I'm saying? We can't just have them just running all around. Remember what the scripture say? It says, kind of quoted in my own words, but it says, something about he who, I'm putting my own words. It's something about when you leave your daughter by herself, she brings her mother to shame. You familiar
Mm.
with that? Yeah, yeah. It's a scripture talk about like a daughter left to herself brings her mother to shame, and that's what we're seeing the throughout this whole country. You know what I'm saying? A lot of children, you know, left to themselves, daughters left to themselves, bring their parents to shame because they
Con.
left to themselves. They left to their own devices. Because you know how it is, right? You know what I'm saying? From the Willie Lynch letter, it's all
Yeah.
been.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But nothing has escaped what the Almighty told us was going to happen. Nothing has escaped Deuteronomy 28. You
No.
know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, that chapter is so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? When you just look at it like, man, the Most High told us everything that will happen to us in the land of Canaan.
Right. Right.
And
Right.
it happened. And here we go.
Right.
You know, I was just doing an interview earlier today. It's going to come out in a while, probably about a month or so. You know what I'm saying? I did an interview earlier today, and we was speaking on those things.
Yep. What Aharon say? Let the block scream hallelujah. Hallelujah. Read in Deuteronomy.
Dang.
That's real
Right,
talk.
right,
That's
right.
real
Yep.
talk.
Yeah, man, just wanted to chop it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, we don't do too much today, nothing too heavy or whatever. Chop it up a little bit about the men. Let's stay on this man thing because when all the men get together, you know what I'm saying? We hold each other accountable. We do what we got to do. The women gonna naturally follow.
Yep.
They naturally follow. You ain't gonna have to force them. You don't have to fuss at them. Strong men come together. We move how we need to move. Do what we need to do. They gonna naturally follow. You know
And
what I'm
and
saying?
the stress level goes down,
Yeah.
because
Right.
what us out of order, bro, it's stressful. It's harder
Yeah.
because it's going against nature.
Yeah.
Like when we following the chain of command, it's
Exactly.
it's so much easier,
Exactly.
and
Hey, what the
everybody
Willie? Go ahead.
everybody happier.
Right. What the Willie Lynch letter say though? Right. It was trying to take us out of the natural order of things.
Yep.
When you read it, and that's still going on right now today. Still
Con,
going on today.
con.
So yeah, man, I know we're gonna make this transition soon. You know what I'm saying? It's like 8 o'clock. I know Aaron gonna come on in a minute. You know what I'm saying? When I see him, he may be a few minutes later, whatever. That's all good. We're gonna make the transition. Let him
Yep.
come on. I think he's supposed to be dialoguing with a brother today. So that's gonna
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Um I don't know, the brother may or may not make it. Hopefully so. We're gonna see what happens. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They're
Yeah.
gonna be dialoguing about Adam being the first man, so we ain't gonna give nothing away right now, but you know what I'm
That's
saying?
gonna that's a good one to tune into though. That's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we in Israel now teach that Adam was indeed the first man, and I know that many other people teach that Adam was not the first man. So you know what I'm saying? As always, you know we're gonna dialogue about that and get into it, bring the ins and outs. But I did
Con.
want to before the brother come on, because I'll see him in the queue when he's ready. I wanted to show a couple of things real quick. So I got this. I actually showed this on the last podcast. The ancient Hebrew alphabet. Let the people see it again. So whenever we
Uh-huh.
talk about ancient Hebrew, this is what we're talking about. These
Uh-huh.
are, hold on, let me get it. Well, you see all 22.
Yep. Yep.
Let me bring it back a
That,
little
that's
bit.
our that's our language. That's our writing right there. That's ours right there.
Right, yep. These are the 22 letters of the ancient Hebrew alphabet. Right? This is what it is. What people see today, what they use in the land of Israel today is modern Hebrew. That is not the way Moses wrote. This is the way Moses wrote in these letters,
Yep.
right? And so, what people don't realize is the Hebrew that they're using today in the land of Israel, and even in what they call in modern Hebrew Bibles and in other places, that is not ancient Hebrew. When our people went into captivity under the Babylonians in 586 BC, they went into Babylon. They was captive under the Babylonians for 70 years. And guess what language they learned? What y'all call modern Hebrew today. That wasn't called modern Hebrew then. It wasn't called Hebrew at all. But those same letter characters that people call modern Hebrew, that is actually the Babylonian language. They
Mm-hmm.
learned that in Babylon, and then when they came back, and it was called Aramaic. When they
Mm-hmm.
came back to Jerusalem, they started writing in that language because that's what they learned in captivity in Babylon, and that
Right.
language carried on. So that, to be perfectly honest, is the language of our captivity. That was
Yeah.
the language and the letters that we learned in captivity.
Yeah.
But this right here, what I showed, this is the real ancient Hebrew
Yep.
that before the captivity, right? That Moses wrote in and other scriptures. So this is
And
what
it's
we're dealing with.
and it's so easy to understand. Like it's not when people trying to learn another language, it's like a daunting task. But this is not like the letters. The letters they also have numeric value, so it's even simpler to even know the numbers. Like the whole system is way easier, simpler.
Dang. Hey,
Yep.
Gary, hey, shalom, shalom, bro. Um, I'll give you that precept. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I'll get it to you. And I meant to call you back too earlier today, but I'll chop it up with you though. But yeah, if anybody know that precept, it's pretty much along the lines of you're supposed to be clean for the Sabbath day, like ritually clean, and so therefore, we teach that you would really take a shower before the sun sets on Friday night. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you're not clean until the eve. So if you don't do it on Friday night, and then the Sabbath comes, and then you wouldn't be ritually clean until the next evening. So that's pretty much where it comes from. That's
Con.
pretty much where it comes from. I just can't remember the exact script that I go to break that down. But because he said we mentioned on the last podcast, which we did, but we just didn't go into the script. We just kind of mentioned it and kept it moving. Yep, yep, same. Hold on, let me see. I think it might be another question real quick that we
Okay.
might fulfill before we and I wasn't anymore on film. Hold on. Now these are just statements that I can see. I got some more questions I can deal with. See if we can kind of chop it over film, but nah, we good. But yeah, man, it's all about the men, man. Men got to get in line, and the women gonna get in line as well. Um, can we go to this First Timothy chapter 2, verse 12 through 14? All right? What's in
First
that?
Timothy, First Timothy 2.
Yep, 12 through 14.
All right. Let me get there. First Timothy 2, 12 through 14. But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was deceived not, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
Now, a lot of people um, take that a little too far. They use it to oppress
Right.
women. You know what I'm saying? But it's just about an order. That's all. You know what I'm saying? All through the scriptures.
Order.
You go to
Yep.
even places, from the so-called Old Testament to the so-called New Testament, the so-called Apocryphal, whatever, and it talks about, you know what I'm saying, the leaders of his people are men. So, you know, when we're talking about leading congregations and different things like that, of course, we teach that it should be led by men. Do women have a place? Absolutely. You know, women have a great place and a great purpose. Uh,
Absolutely.
and actually, women can teach other women as well and children, but women shouldn't lead a congregation. You know what I'm saying?
Con. Con.
Uh, but women can have things to teach though as well, especially once it is under the leadership and authority of a man that permits a woman to do certain things. You know what I mean? She just shouldn't be the leader of the congregation and things like that.
Con. Con.
Yep. Because just think about it, man. I know I gave this example before in the past. So it was a sister that was a part of our congregation years ago, and she had traveled to New York one time. And while she was there, it was like Passover season, so she found some congregation to keep Passover with. And she came up with the story. She was like, there wasn't no women there. It was all men. Well, she said it was a few women, but they just had them sitting off in the corner, like doing
Wow.
it, almost like they sit in the corner. They can't say nothing, can't nothing, right? And it was
Wow.
just all men. And she was just like, it wasn't nothing like Passover with us and you two. Because she was just like, the food, all they had was like a couple things. Like, I think they had like, it was just a couple things. It wasn't hardly no food, for real.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't
Right.
hardly no food like at all. Wasn't hardly no food, no nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Shoot. Yep.
And I looked at that and I thought, like, to be perfectly honest, that's because the women are oppressed as far as what they supposed to do and want to do, and they don't feel free to give what they can contribute. You know what I'm
Con.
saying? So when we
Con.
have Passover, it's like we have unbelievable food because the women can do what they do. You know, it's not just
Right.
all women cook, some of the men cook as well. But I'm just saying, when we have Passover and different feast days, it's like the tables are decorated. Because remember, the Almighty, we read in the scriptures, everything was in order, everything was excellent. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? From the decorations of the temple to everything, the
Right.
curtains, menorah
Right.
was built.
Right.
Everything looked absolutely beautiful. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And that's part of what the women bring. Like they ain't just gonna sit at the
Absolutely.
they gonna be like put a cloth on that table, put a
Yep.
candle on that
Yep.
table, put some
Yep.
flowers, decorate, make everything
Yep.
look nice and still look cultural. We still got our shofars and menorahs and everything
Yep.
on it, but they
Yep.
gonna bring what they bring. They bring that touch that a bunch of men ain't gonna bring. If
They
you go
bringing
to
that
Passover and
excitement.
all you got is 10 men, you ain't gonna have that.
Yeah. They
You know,
bringing that life. They bringing
yeah,
that hay. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah,
bringing
yeah.
that hay to the party.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's just like a woman makes a house a home. They do
Yes.
that with the holy days and the feast days
Yes.
and the gathering as well. They make it a home.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
And
It's,
you
you
know
know,
what? It's that type of teaching that gives power to this Babylonian system. Because now the women want to rebel and they can find some type of refuge in this Babylonian system who gonna cater to them all
yep,
day long.
yep, yep. That's true. That's true. You're right about that. Yep.
Yep.
The whole thing is catered to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Get
Yep.
the
You're
men
right.
out. They become the husbands for real. They man kicked out or locked up, and then they giving them the little government assistance, and then they become the husband.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
The man can't even been in the house. I remember growing up, it was so bad that my mom's, whenever like I don't know what type of situation we was in, but I just know that there were times when I would have to hide, and I was a young boy, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Right.
she wouldn't be allowed to have sons there, like no man whatsoever could be at the place, like,
Man. Right.
yeah, yeah,
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
and I remember those times.
Yeah. Right. Man. Yep. Yeah. You're right. The government has definitely become the husband.
Yep,
Yep. But again, man, it's like the Almighty ain't lied to us about nothing. You know what I'm saying? He told us in them scripts everything that was gonna happen to us if we rejected His commandments.
exactly.
So now it's only high time that we keep His commandments.
Yep,
You know what I'm saying? And it seems so simple. You know what I mean? Because people that don't know the truth will be like, "This is all you gotta do: keep the commandments." We've
right,
been trying to
right,
vote. We've been trying to gather up money to do this and that. We've been trying all this other stuff. We've been voting, having all these meetings to come together. You know
right,
what I mean? Like literally, our people all over this country have been having meetings since the 50s, the 60s, the 40s. Ever since we got to this
right,
country, we've been
yep,
having meetings about fixing our situation in this country.
yep,
We've been
yep.
having meetings about how do we become equal in this country? But guess
Mm-hmm.
what they missed, huh? Deuteronomy 28,
Yep,
Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6
yep.
let us know what? The Almighty said, "You are a holy people unto me. You are above all nations that are upon the face of the earth."
Uh,
If we disobey the commandments, then guess what? We're going to be below all nations.
yep,
Therefore, the true nation of Israel will never be equal to any other nation. So we
right,
need to stop trying to be equal in this country.
right.
It's never the Almighty's will for us to be equal to anybody. We're either going
Uh,
to be above them or we're going to be below them.
period.
If we keep the commandments, we're above all nations. And this whole all men are created equal, that's some Gentile, westernized American stuff.
Con,
Why he
con,
never created us all equal. He said Israel is above all nations.
con.
But when we disobey, our punishment is what? Now you're going to be below the other nations.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So we either gonna be the head or the tail. We're never gonna be equal. And all our people been trying to fight for is what? Equal rights,
Equality.
equality. So they're going against the Almighty's word just by fighting for equality.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? So what he
They
say
want.
at I think it's in Deuteronomy or somewhere like that, where the Almighty said, "Accept your punishment." You see
Right.
what I'm saying? If you will
Right.
be humble and accept your punishment and just turn back to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Aaron, I see. I just sent you out. He's about to chime you in. Come back in. And I'll bring you on live with us. So this will be interesting, man. You know what I'm saying? The brother gonna chop it up. And then I'm gonna just sit back and you know what I'm saying? We get off and sit back and enjoy it myself too. You know what I'm saying? We'll chop it up about Adam. Was Adam the first man? Was Adam not the first man? So
Right. Right. Right.
we'll see.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I'm
very
looking forward
interesting,
to it.
man, when you actually really delve into these things and you really start to see, you know, what everybody is teaching out there and how they arrive at their different conclusions, different things like that. It's real interesting.
Uh huh.
So,
Yep. Yep.
but yeah, he was just on a second ago. I was about to chime him in. I don't see him now. He probably hit it back in a minute. Shalom, shalom, I will. But if we got any more, let me see if we got any more questions in the chat that we could deal with. So you come on. Genesis said we living in the land of confusion. We need our men to know who they are and the women to know who they are.
Yeah.
Okay. And
It's
unify
like
in the word of
it's
God.
like chess. It's like chess, and I like to go back to basketball because I've been a basketball coach for the last 6 years, and my team's been good. You know what I mean, and that's just all glory to the Most High because everywhere I went, my light shine where I was able to even teach in where I was at. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
But it's about roles, man. Everybody doesn't have to be a shooter on a basketball court.
Right. Right.
Everybody doesn't have to be the rebounder.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have to bring the ball up the floor.
Okay.
You just play your role, and then it's gonna work out even better.
Yep. Yep.
Just master your role. That's all I need you to do. Master your role. I'm gonna
Yeah.
master mine's, and
Exactly.
then watch what's gonna happen when we just master
Exactly.
our own roles.
Hey, that's real, lot. Absolutely. That's how. Remember we was talking about basketball a little bit last time, talking about Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, yeah,
And you was like, he'll come like he mastered his role.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He
Yup.
wasn't trying to dunk on everybody and
Right.
try what Jordan do. He did his role. Jordan
Yup.
did his role. Pippen did his
Yup.
role. Yeah, you master your role, and now it's better for everybody.
Yup. I always taught like everybody on the floor is a leader. You might not be the leader of the team, but you're the leader of that position.
Yeah,
So lead that position.
right.
Yep.
Dang. Yeah,
And it
that's
feels
good.
good. Yeah, it just feels good to be a part of a good team. You don't have to carry the burden. Those are the best teams to be on when you got other players that's live at what they do too.
Yeah, yeah, right, right,
You know?
right. Yep. Yeah, and we gotta do the same thing in this too, bro. It's the same
Yeah.
thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Con.
you know, everybody. And what I noticed today in this too, especially with the age of social media and Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, and all this stuff that's going on, is like everybody, especially the men. Well, I'm just talking about the men right now, but
Mhm.
everybody want to be teachers. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? You see everybody trying to be a teacher, and that's not everybody's role. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like
Right.
some people just do music only. Some people teach. Some people do all type of things. But with everybody trying to be a teacher, man, it just brings in so much confusion.
Con. And the gifts of the spirit don't operate like that. So
Yep,
you operating out of the spirit.
yep. Because this is the truth right here. You find this right. We all know we Israel. Deuteronomy 28, right? Of course, we got many
Mhm.
other places we could go, but
Right.
I found that Deuteronomy 28 is pretty much the only place we could go that all Israel agree with.
Right.
After that, you don't know what you're gonna get. You see what I'm saying? You
Yep.
can go
Yep.
anywhere around the country to any Israelite congregation and read
Yep.
Deuteronomy 28. Everybody gonna agree. If you
Yep.
go to any other chapter and verse, people gonna disagree.
Hey, that's
It's
real.
all over the place. You know what I'm saying? No matter
That's
what
real.
other topic, what other verse we dealing with, it's all different everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We dealing with different calendars, different everything. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
Yep.
Yep. I think Mike here now. Let me see. Haran, you on with us out? Whenever you ready out, you can
Yeah, I'm on now. I'm trying to
Oh,
just
okay.
get my headset. I don't know, man. I gotta get me some new headphones, man.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
my headphones been tripping, but yeah, I'm on.
Cool,
Hey,
cool, cool.
shalom, y'all. Shalom, though.
Shalom,
Shalom, Mark.
shalom, shalom, bro. Yep. Good to have you
Yep,
on here,
just
bro. So
holding.
hey, so is the out coming on?
Nah, man. Unfortunately, he had to reschedule. He wanted to do it tomorrow, but man, I'll be too busy throughout the week, man. I
Yeah.
told him, you know what I mean? We'll just push for next Sunday
Okay.
and, go about it then. So, told him I understand. Things come up, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. Hey, I was looking forward to it, bro.
Yeah.
That's what I was just telling
oh,
Elijah,
man.
like, yeah,
Jeez.
we gonna time out in a minute, and I'm gonna kick back. You know what I'm saying? And enjoy this
Right.
little dialogue myself.
Right.
Oh, man.
That's
Yeah, man. You know what I mean? Just, I'm always ready, though. Like, shoot, I'm still ready right now, just in case he hit up and be like, hey, let's get on.
Right,
right. Right.
right.
You know what I mean? But,
Stay ready,
you know how
whenever
it
you
is.
get ready.
Yeah, you know how it is, man. I just look at it like, hey, I understand. The shoe could have been on the other foot.
Right,
Something come up, emergency or whatever, man. So you
right,
understand? Hey, maybe it ain't time for the people to
exclusively get this thing like that right now.
Right,
Time.
right.
But yeah, man.
Yeah, that's
So I'm
good.
gonna kind of
It's all about bringing edification to the people in the listening audience, though. You know what I mean? Because they hear a lot of this stuff when people on YouTube, and they hearing a lot of this stuff. So we really do need to bring clarification to this stuff through our teachings and through like this as well. You know what I'm saying? Bring people on and let them, because you can never know if your perspective is right until the right person is challenging your perspective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And asking the right questions. But it got to be
Right.
the right person.
Yep.
right. Yeah.
You will never
True.
know. You will never know.
Yep.
Very much true, man. So yeah, man. So right now, uh, I think Will, you sent Will the link.
No, I did not, but I can though.
Okay. I told him. I actually told him that I was going to want him on
Okay,
just to
cool.
read. Um,
But,
I ain't really want to deal with him in the manner of, you know what I mean, individual where I got to read and all that. I could have, but I was just like, shoot, man, I just want to sit back and coast through.
Right.
yeah,
Time.
Uh,
Time.
but y'all send him the link if you can, and shoot, man. So to the listening audience, that's on. I know a lot of people was anticipating. We're gonna kind of deal with what we dealt with in the past about this whole marriage thing, this whole divorcement thing. I still think a lot of people need clarity on that. I mean,
yeah,
that's
they
one
do,
of them
bro.
things that, that's another one of them topics where, man, you be needing to really have them dialogues and stuff about. So
Right, right.
we can definitely get into that or whatnot. So
Yep.
yeah.
All right. Well, yep. I sent him the link. So
You gotta turn the light on and see. Oh, it's in here. Yup. So hold on, give me one
he
second,
joined
man.
us. Then you know what I'm saying? Me and Elijah chime out as soon as he joins us.
Yep.
Let y'all do what y'all do. But yeah, that's a good thing to bring out because it is people do need to get that as well. You know, they definitely just need to understand that.
See
Yeah,
that
now today.
on saying things. Yeah. Yeah. So how y'all day been going so far, man? I know y'all was just bringing out edification and stuff like that, going over a
Yep.
few different things. As far as
I've been
I mean,
super
y'all
busy
day, how
today.
y'all day been going?
Been real
Yep.
busy today, man. I done did a lot today, bro. You know what I'm saying? But it was good. It was a good, productive day. I done did a lot. A lot of running around, took care of a lot of stuff I needed to. Did an interview. You know what I'm saying? Did a lot of stuff got done today. You know what I'm saying? Teaching my
That's what's
daughter
up.
the drive so she could pass this driving test. A little bit of everything.
Okay.
Really just a maneuverability for real. She's driving cool. She just got to pass
Hey,
the
I'm
test.
one up. I'm one up on Will.
What
Yeah,
you
we played him
Oh,
today.
y'all beat him? Y'all
We
beat him
played
yesterday?
him,
Oh.
beat him
Oh.
by about 20.
Okay.
Oh. Oh.
Right.
Beat him by about 20. So now I got back bragging rights.
Hey, hey,
Right.
hey,
Right.
hey, did you have 20 Was it your 20?
Now I had about a hot 10.
Okay, all right then.
About a high 10. Our
All
Right.
right.
our team our team just like that though, man. Like I think the highest on our team today was probably about 14.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we
Everybody getting
spreading the
buckets.
wealth.
That's what's up.
Spreading the wealth, man.
Hey, it
Will,
wasn't
I
it
got
wasn't nothing he could do. It wasn't nothing he could do.
I got a rebound over him. You know what I mean? I had to show him how high I can jump. He was like, hey, I didn't know you could jump like that.
If you got
He
to by
bigger,
what?
so it's like he bigger, so I just had to use my athleticism,
Right.
like you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
What he about? Six
Got
two?
over.
What's he
Well,
about? 6'4"?
Will about 6'5",
How tall are you?
Yeah.
6'2"?
6'2".
Yeah.
Yeah, he's solid too though. Like he's solid. He just got to get his wind back, man. When he get his wind back,
He
Yeah.
gonna be
like
all
you
right.
know, what I mean, you can
Yeah.
tell the knowledge of the game is there. It's fundamental.
Yeah.
He just got to get that wind back and
Yeah.
hoop a little
Right.
bit more. It was fun though, man. It was
I'm
fun.
sure. I'm
Yeah,
sure it
that's good.
was. I'm sure it
Right.
Man,
was.
it was fun.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, thanks, I Ray. I see you in the comments, bro. Safe travels too, Mod. As always.
Yeah, shalom, shalom to everybody in the comments, man. So yeah, man.
Will in the comments said it was
Yeah,
20.
yeah.
They about to join us.
I told him, man, you got to go take an ice bath or something, man. Take you an ice bath, man, and
Right.
get your tissue rejuvenated, man. Hey, cause look, he dang near. Let me see. They only had like one or two subs, so he dang near. He played a lot. He played a lot of minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
ain't, they ain't, they ain't, they ain't got a lot of subs, man. So
Right, right. I ain't quite ready to
Yeah.
come out of retirement, man. I would go and help him out. I ain't quite ready yet.
Right. Right.
You know. Hey, I'm so thirsty to get out there though. I ain't gonna do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I ain't gonna do it.
nah,
Yeah,
nah,
bro.
man. Just hey, do some home working out, some home workouts, man. Get some strength back in. What was it, your Achilles?
Yup, yup. Hey, that's what I'm on.
Shalom, bro.
That's what I'm on. Yup.
Shalom, family.
Hey,
Shalom,
shalom, Rock.
Yeah, man, they got us about 20 today, man. They got us
Ah,
about 20, man.
Right.
Hey, I was salty. Hey, I told Aaron I got a bucket on him. Like he ain't thought I saw him back there on me.
Yeah.
Try to get that block.
oh yeah. Hey, y'all notice I ain't mentioned that.
You're right,
hey,
right.
hey, hey,
Hey,
hey! You
I
was
got to
trying to get the
defend.
block. You was trying to get the block on the eye.
Yeah, I tried to send him, bro. I tried to.
Hey,
Right.
man, try to send me
I
outside,
I ain't
bro.
mentioned that part of the. I ain't mentioned that
Right, you know
part
how
of the
to come on and
reel.
defend myself real quick.
Right. Yeah, if he would have got that block, that would have been the first thing he would have said.
Right, we had been back on Shabbat like, hey, you remember that block?
Right.
Right, right, right.
But
Right.
no, it
You
was
know,
a
I
good
sent
game,
you.
man. They team, they just got it, man. They so loaded, man,
Yeah,
and ain't nothing you could do, man. We still our team, bro. You could tell they team super athletic. They get up and down the floor. They got some goons, man. So it ain't,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You can only do so much with that, man.
Right, right.
Meanwhile, we got about 4 or 5 players, man, that's still trying to get they win. I'm one of them. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
we're gonna see. I'm gonna
Y'all,
see if I can even the score,
y'all had,
man, later
y'all had
during
a
the
50-year
season.
old out there today. I ain't.
Hey, man, I don't know who dude was, bro.
He walked up. He walked up to me. He was like, "Hey, don't be trying to do too much, young fella." I said, "Man, so you got it, bro.
Bro, you about to get, hey, you
You got
rotisserie.
it, bro.
You cooked him
Hey,
though.
I'll be somewhere clothesline laid out. Don't mess around with old school."
Right, right, right,
Hey
right.
man, hey, you cooked him though, bro, just like you was supposed to.
Yeah, man. But it was all fun though, man. It's
For
always fun
sure.
to get out there and have some recreation for a chance. But I will say this: if you are part of Chosen Seed,
Hey,
Detroit, Michigan,
hey,
man, listen, you don't want to see nothing that come through the doors of Israel now in the basketball court. But we
I
say that for another.
promise you.
We say that for another talk.
Hey,
Yeah,
we
this
gonna have
ain't
to get that
yeah.
in, bro.
Any,
That's been
hey,
going
matter
on
of
for a
fact,
few years
any
now.
congregation, any congregation that want to play our congregation in a game, in a 5-on-5, whatever, 7-on-7 basketball game, like we throwing out the challenge right now.
We could do
Right.
3-on-3. What's good?
Whatever, we throwing out the challenge. And they got to be a member of your assembly for at least a year. Don't
Right,
be
right,
trying to get
right.
nobody
Right,
from overseas
right,
that you know and he ain't really in the truth. They got to be.
right.
We gotta ask them some qualified questions. Like, all right,
Facts.
let me ask you this: what did the Messiah say at the island?
Right, right, right,
He ain't in the truth. They just got him
Right,
from
right,
overseas. Y'all he ain't in the truth.
right,
He
right.
right.
can't
Exactly,
play this game. He
exactly,
don't
You can't
qualify.
spell you
exactly.
can't spell your how. It's slow. Get him
It's
out of here.
slow.
Get
It's
him out of
slow.
Hey,
here.
Hey, they
hey,
gonna be going to the hood, you know what I'm saying? Finding, the local hood basketball
Yeah,
players.
yeah,
Put them
yeah.
fringes on and cover it up.
Right,
right,
You
right.
don't even know where
Look,
you
right.
at.
man. I'm gonna give
Like,
you.
hey,
I'm
we
gonna
can
give
do
you
that
four
too.
letters, man. Just remember these 4 letters, man. You're gonna be
Hey,
all
hey,
right.
I hear you in the comments. He said, "What you doing?"
Huh?
Bruce said, I hear he gonna play for Chosen Seed probably on that basketball game. He in the
I hear
comments.
you.
What up, Harry? Hey, man, I meant to hit you up. Man, I missed your call. Man, I've been so daggone busy. But
Doing the same thing.
oh, for real, let me see. Hey, yeah, we got Yezron. You know, Yezron used to hoop for Tad. You know, he about 6'2", 6'3". So, hey, we got height, we got athletic, we got it all, man. We got the total package, man. We got the total package, man.
That's
Hey,
gonna be live, bro.
That Hebrew gathering, bro. We got to have a court nearby this season.
What
Hey,
move? Hold
last
on.
time we was in Detroit, man, the Chosen Seed brothers started praying for rain.
Hold on, wait. He said
Right there.
Hebrew. Wait.
They was
Hey,
praying
Yeah,
for
man.
rain.
Yeah, hey, look. One eye was facing towards the north, the
Yeah.
other eye was facing towards the east.
hey, I'm
The other
weak.
eye, they were facing in all four directions, like, oh yeah, how was I Elohim? If it rains,
If you
if
find
you
us
just
worthy,
send, if you just send an inkling of rain,
right?
All right,
Hey,
man.
I'm weak.
have mercy on the seed of the chosen.
Right.
We about to
And
chime
it
out, man.
rained, bro. It got rained out, bro.
Yeah,
Dang.
yep.
Dang.
Not this year. I'm in the seat.
Yeah,
All right,
right.
Doc. I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
let y'all have it.
yeah.
All right,
All right, Josh.
Shalom.
Shalom,
All
good
family.
right, family.
dialogue,
Shalom,
man.
shalom.
Yup, shalom, shalom. So yeah, man. Good brother. Definitely good to get out there. Wish you get some cardio in, man. And
Oh, you know that for sure.
yup. So the brother had hit me up. He wants to reschedule.
Okay.
Fair enough because certain things come up from time to time and stuff like that, man. So I just told him like, let's do it next Sunday. You know what I mean? If we can't do it next Sunday, I might just go ahead and maybe make one more attempt and probably just go ahead and just bring that thing out to fruition, man. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe me and
Right.
I got to bring it out, kind of show both sides or whatnot.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, man, we're gonna just gonna be kind of a short steady one tonight.
Okay.
Um, we just gonna deal with this whole, biblical divorcement.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Cover a couple of the parameters, man. Like what is divorcement according to scriptures, man? I think a lot of people may still struggle with it.
Right.
um, Due to the scriptures that we read in the New Testament, man. So,
Got you.
give me 1 second. I want to see something real quick. Hold up. Hey, are you do you have another do you have like another way to like look through the comments and stuff like that?
Yep. Yep. I got my iPad right here so I can jump on and see if who got comments or whatever. Yep.
Okay.
I got it. I
Hey,
got
let me
him up
read a
right now.
comment, man. He said last time we supposed to hoop when I was in Cincinnati, y'all had me there one on one with the Gentile brother.
Hey, I'm weak.
Hey, we gonna set it up though. We gonna set it up, man. We gonna
Right.
set it up. Yeah. So yeah, man. Welcome to this doubleheader, man. The Level Up podcast. I think it's like episode 31 or 32. So the Almighty just giving us the ability, man, and the zeal to keep these things flowing. You know what I mean? This truth is for every individual that's open, man. So tonight, like as we stated, we're gonna be dealing with scriptorial divorcement. um, Not really going into like the guidelines of, the quote unquote laws of the land, you know what I mean, and the parameters of different how different states look at marriage and stuff like that, and the guidelines of divorcement there, but just more so fixing the confusion between the New Testament divorcement, i.e., put away. You know what I mean? Connecting the two and also disconnecting where it needs to be disconnected at. So pretty much, man, the premise is this. The premise is this. Most people gonna teach that when you go to the New Testament, when it says to put away, it's indeed speaking about divorcement. So they're left with a conclusion to say when a woman is divorced, i.e., put away, this woman can't marry. She can't remarry, period,
Right.
because they only read through one passage in the New Testament and they never thought to line it up with, a precept and a law or even another place in the New Testament that serves more context to the situation. So you got that, and then you got another teaching out there that will use these passages to say that a man, when he divorces a woman, is not solidified um, unless like it has to be only by way of fornication.
Right.
You know what I mean? Meaning spiritual infidelity or physical. And so that's like the second way. and then we would actually teach the third way, which we're gonna go in tonight. All right, and see if we should go based off them other two ways, or should we stick to what we're gonna be reading tonight. All right, so Aki, when you're ready, let's open it up with this chapter in Psalms 119, verse 104. And while you're getting that, Paul actually, we got some stuff to deal with in Paul concerning this particular matter, and stuff like that. So we'll probably just deal with like the law, a little bit of Paul, and a little bit of the Mashiach's words and stuff like that, and see what we get out of it. All right. So Psalms 119 and 104.
All right, cool. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119, verse 104. Through thy precepts I get understanding. Therefore I hate every false way.
All right, cool. So through the precepts, through the commands or commandments, either one of the two, through the chain of commands or commandments, this is how we get understanding. If a man said, the Almighty doesn't justify homosexuality, the only way we get the understanding based off what a person just said is if we go to the law and show where the Almighty actually said it. And that's and we carry the understanding after that. All right. So we don't just make loose statements to be like, yeah, this, that, and the third, and we don't never back it up with scriptures, and stuff like that. All right. So through thy precepts I get understanding. All right. So let's deal with one phase of it real quick. Where I want to go. Let me go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Now, the history behind this, most people may not agree, but we just did a 2-part series explaining Paul's letters, Paul's writings, who he was actually talking to. Paul wasn't talking directly to men of Israel, whether it's the northern kingdom or the southern kingdom. Paul's letters were strictly to these churches, and these particular locations did have they did inhabited those of the southern tribes, right? Judah, Benjamin, and parts of Levi.
Right.
But when he wrote these letters, he only wrote back to these churches that wrote letters to him, and these was clearly European churches. All right. You can go back to our lessons. We got a 2-part series on it explaining that in depth. All right. So now that we got that out the way, 1 Corinthians chapter 7 is where most people will go to explain patrimony and matrimony between male and female, and how we should operate when dealing with quote unquote divorcement. All right. What particular verse I want? Give me 1 second. All right. Let's just read verse 1, and then we'll kind of just jump down.
Okay. It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, starting at verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
Okay. So, go ahead. My bad.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was it. That was it. My bad. So, I'm trying to fix this thing on camera. Hold up. All right, that might be better. How I want it. Is it crooked? A little crooked?
No, that's good right there. Yep, right there. Yep. Oh, it's crooked now a little bit.
A little crooked.
Yep. There we go. Yep.
All right, that's cool. So now concerning the things whereof ye wrote to me. Who are the ye? The church of Corinth, which is in Europe, right? It is good for a man not to touch a woman. So Christianity may they may bring forth something like, hey, premarital sex is prohibited by the Almighty. You shouldn't touch a woman unless you're married to her, then you can lie with her. Now I would say this. You shouldn't fornicate, you shouldn't have sex with a woman without intent. Right? Before you marry her, you should have everything established. And when you go into her, the law in Deuteronomy 22 actually tells you what to do. It's a process. Once you entice a woman, spit that game to her, right?
Right.
Once you spit that game to her and you lie with her, meaning have sex, then you shall surely endure her to be your wife. So
Con.
that lets me know that premarital sex is out the window. Premarital sex is actually not prohibited. It's only whoremongering that's prohibited by the Almighty. So no, we're
Con.
not advocating go have sex with a woman and let her just go about her business.
Right.
Or have sex with multiple women and let them just go about their business. All right. So they're writing him this stuff, right? But I wonder why. Now, I'm gonna give y'all the backstory. And you have to look at the context, and the context is not always in verse 1 of a chapter. Our scriptures was not written in book, chapter, and verse format. Same with these letters. Letters are not written in book, chapter, and verse format. So the context here, y'all can look it up for yourself. The context here would start in a couple previous chapters before. When you start at chapter 5, this is when they had a whole dispute about fornicating. And if we know anything about the laws that was given to these Gentiles, fornication was one of the 4 laws that was given. All right. And they were having a dispute saying, like, hey, a man shouldn't touch a woman, meaning, when this woman is is single, a man shouldn't just whoremonger with her. That's fornication.
Con.
And when this woman is quote unquote put away, a man shouldn't try to go and lay with her. That's adultery, which is fornication.
Con.
So they're asking him about this stuff. And also, a man shouldn't lay with his father's wife.
Con.
That's one of
Yep.
the things that was one of the biggest ones that they had because it was going on in the church, and these Gentiles thought, hey, it's okay to have sex with your father's wife. But then it was a group of people that believed on it, and they was like, no, you can't have sex with your father's wife.
Right.
But it was something that we already knew according to the law, but the Gentiles hadn't got around to that yet. And Paul actually said this in a few verses. That's why when you get to chapter 6, he says, know ye not that your body is the temple of Elohim.
Yeah.
It's a principle for all men that we all should treat our body as such. But he's
Con.
talking to them saying your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. And guess what? Neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor whoremongers, nor all of this stuff he's telling
Right.
them about that they should go by where they can be saved.
Right.
These people won't enter into the kingdom. So if you're going by all this, guess what? It goes along it goes against the 4 laws that y'all was given.
Con. Yep.
So it all makes sense why he's addressing it now. Verse 1. Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman, right? So let's just read down now. Let's pick it up at verse 2. Oh shoot, I jumped off. Cool. Yup. Sis. 1 Corinthians 5. Start there. Yup. And if you want to, sis, definitely keep being our scribe to kind of let some of the people as you're doing. I appreciate that because the people may come in late and not get where we are and stuff like that, or the scriptures that we even quoted from. So I appreciate you, sis. But I'll just pick up the reading until my eye get back on. So verse 2. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Pretty self-explanatory, right? Have your own wife, and the wife have your own husband. Let not verse 3. Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. So he's saying pretty much have kindness with one another. All right. Verse 4. The wife has not power over her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband has not power over his own body, but the wife. So all he's saying is give unto each other, right? Have relations with one another. You're married. There's nothing wrong with it. The marriage bed is undefiled. All right. So we shouldn't be holding out from our spouse because the desire for one another can be so high when you hold out, it almost can put certain things in the back of your mind, like, wait a minute, you know what I mean? Am I not good for her to her anymore? And vice versa. Or is this person cheating? So it's best to just have benevolence towards one another, love on one another. Don't yield your body towards away from one another because it can cause doubt, it can cause confusion, and it can just have, lead the mind to wander in places where it shouldn't. And in most cases, when that stuff happens, most people just want to you can bring me back. Okay. Um, Text Yash will and see if he can see if he can link you back in. That's the only way I'll be able to get you back on. All right, so yeah, pretty much it's not saying that the woman is a sex slave or the man is a sex slave when it says you have no power over your own body. All it's saying is have due benevolence towards one another, love on one another, and be open for one another. You know what I mean? For the satisfaction of your marriage. All right. Verse 5, defraud ye not one the other, except it be with consent for a time that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer and come together again, that Satan tempt ye not for your incontinency. So give me 1 second, y'all. Oh shoot. All right, give me 1 second, y'all. Okay, so verse 5, I think where I was. All right, so he said, defraud not yourself one to the other. So same thing that I was saying in a nutshell, like give unto one another, right? And he's speaking about having sex. He said, except it be with consent for a time, that ye may give yourselves to fasting and prayer. So except it be something where y'all agreed on, like, hey, for these 2 days, you know what I mean, we're not gonna eat any unclean meats. We're just gonna go on an herb diet. We're gonna drink water, and also we're not gonna give in to sex. We want to make sure our mind is clear towards the task that we're trying to do. And then he said, and come together again, that Satan tempt ye not for your incontinency. So, because it may be too long overdue and your self control, um, one towards another cannot no longer hold on, come together before Satan tempts you. Come together again, lay with one another before Satan have you trying to do something else out of ignorance, you know what I mean, or out of the flesh. All right. Hopefully this all making sense. Because Paul's letters, right, to a lot of people, Paul letters, Paul was like someone that was set up to confuse the people. So a lot of people don't accept Paul. Also, Peter said they will wrestle with Paul's letters to their own destruction because they don't know who Paul was talking to, and people never read the context. That's why they wrestle with it. We on this side, when we read it, we don't wrestle with it. All right. So,
I'm back with you, my eye. Can you hear me?
yeah, got you.
Yeah, my bad. That's why I hit
All
the
right. So
wrong button.
we at verse 6. So we just breaking them down verse by verse.
All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 6. But I speak this by permission and not of commandment.
Stop right there. Any man that gets addressed as such, um, in this fashion, meaning, um, if a man comes and he start laying pretty much a like he has charisma and he's coming off as, you know, this is what we need to be doing. The first thing I'm gonna say is book, chapter, and verse. Show
Yep.
me a law. This, that, and the third. So the fact that Paul said, I speak this by permission and not of commandment, off rip, you have a group of people that's going to not really hearken to what he's saying.
Right.
Like, hey, what you mean
Right.
by permission? We supposed to talk, we supposed to follow exactly what was given us in Acts 15,
Right.
in Acts 18, and Acts 21. That's how we rock. So if you come in with your own wordplay, Paul, you're gonna have to show us.
Right.
The Berean Jews, right? Let me give y'all his Acts 17, um, Acts 17 and verse 11. We have a group of Jews called the Bereans, right, in the city of Berea. After Paul and them was actually breaking down what they was breaking down, guess what the Berean Jews did?
When they
They
studied
searched the
it.
scriptures daily whether those things were so. When he left them, they said, nah, we going to search to see what he talking about, to see if this stuff is so.
Con.
When it fits, now they can believe what he's saying. But when a man comes and say, I don't speak this by commandment, all that stuff is out the window. I'm listening to motivational speech.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if I want to even hearken to you at this point, but
Right.
I know what I got to do. I know what I need to be doing, and that's keeping the laws. But if
Con.
you're speaking without permission, I'll give an ear, but I won't really hearken. So it's the reason why I'm saying that, and we'll keep reading. All right. Next verse.
Verse 7. For I would that all men were even as I myself, but every man has his proper gift of Elohim, one after this manner, and another after that.
So what is he saying? He's saying, I would that all men were even as I myself, but every man has his proper gift of Elohim, one after this manner and another after that. So whether your gift resides on, whatever your gift is, right? If it resides on something that we can see, like hey, that brother can really understand the scriptures. That's a manner of gifts that the Almighty gave him. If that gift also is a spouse, um, then not all people are given that gift. And Paul wasn't given that gift. Paul actually wasn't married. Paul was, he kept his chastity. So that's what he's saying. I would rather that all men be as I, right? That's why he's speaking about permission, because it's not commanded that we shouldn't marry. It's
Con.
actually set up that we should take our wife, leave our parents' house, and two shall be one. But
Con.
Paul, do it a little different. So in verse 7, for I would that all men were even as I. So, hey, if you were as I, walking around here without a wife, that's cool. I'm speaking about permission.
Right.
Um, Verse 8, I say therefore to the unmarried and widows, it is good for them to abide even as I. So that's how we know he's talking about being unmarried without, because guess who he's talking to? The unmarried, which is consists of male and female.
Right.
And then the widows, which consist of just women that were married but divorced.
Right.
And he said, even as I'm talking to those particular groups of people. But watch this in verse 9. Go ahead.
Verse 9. But if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn.
Wait a minute. He just told the widows also here to marry. When I thought when you get to the New Testament and it says to put away, once that woman is put away, she can't marry.
Right.
So is Paul going over what the Mashiach is saying, or is the Mashiach talking about something totally different that Paul understood?
That's good.
Um, Read it one more time. But if they cannot contain, meaning if you cannot contain one from another, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. Now, the Christian's gonna tell you premarital sex being strong in this verse, because if you don't, how would they say it? If you don't marry, right, and you can't contain yourself and sleep with a male or a female, that word burn is talking about the lake of fire. That
Right.
word burn is not talking about the lake of fire. That word burn is talking about burning and lust. You
Yes.
can look up the Greek word. I'm gonna give y'all the Greek word and you can look it up yourself. It comes from G4448. When you click on it, it had nothing to do with Gehenna, Hades, or any of the Greek words that
Sheol,
we
none of
use.
that.
Sheol, and I'm thinking about the other one. It's four of them. But it never talked about, burning in the lake of fire or going to the grave and stuff like that. He said burning in lust. And it only makes the context fit what it's talking about, because he said if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. So it's better to just sit in a household with a woman and be like, you know what, man, I'm gonna be like Paul. What do you mean you're gonna be like Paul? You got a whole woman here that's
Right.
ready to marry you and love you.
Right.
You better marry that girl for y'all just be burning in your lust.
Uh-huh.
All
You
right.
set yourself up for failure.
Yeah, you just sitting there looking at something. It's like looking at food, and it's like I'm hungry, but that plate, it gotta wait.
Right.
Like, come on now, like the Almighty. allowed us to have righteous lust. You know what I mean? That's a whole nother lesson,
I'm about
though.
to say, yeah, they ain't ready for that yet.
Verse 10.
Verse 10, and unto the married I command, yet not I, but Yahweh. Let not the wife depart from her husband.
Now he just switched it and said, I don't command this, but Yahweh do. And what did he follow it up with? Let not the man depart from her husband, because two shall come together and be one. That's back in the garden, right? Verse 11, I got it here. Right?
Yep.
But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife. Now, here's a discrepancy. Most people gonna look at put away and be like, see, don't let the husband divorce her, because if she's divorced, she can't get married again.
Right.
But that word for put away does not fall under the guidelines of divorce. This word put away here falls under the guidelines of separation only. And
Right.
here's how we know. Let's read it one more time.
Verse 11. And if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband, and let not the husband put away his wife.
Now, if somebody just read it out loud, like you said, and read it slow, they would understand that this woman that was quote unquote put away, she was still in a maritable state. Why? Because it said, let her be reconciled to her husband.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Guess what? He shouldn't have been called her husband if he put her away, i.e. divorced her. He should have just been a free man, not bound by the law. And she was a free woman, not bound by the law.
Exactly.
She's a widow. He can go and marry whomever. And, that's single. And they go about it that way.
Right.
I don't care if somebody try to use verbiage and be like, well, you know how we talk. Man, this is first century.
Yeah.
They didn't talk like how we talk now. We picked up a lot of this Ebonic stuff off this vaster language that we speak.
Facts.
And more metaphors as we continue to live and stuff. But let me see if I want any more. Let me see. Yeah, verse 12.
Verse 12. But to the rest speak I, not Yahweh. If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away.
Now, this ain't talking about we'll get the backdrop on it, but this is not talking about a righteous Israelite man or woman marrying someone that's Hellenized, like an Israelite that's Hellenized, or even just anybody that believes outside of the scriptures.
Right.
Because they see the word believe is not there and think automatically. See, when you get married to a woman, you can't put her away, even if she goes outside the Almighty laws. Even if she don't want to hearken to the Almighty laws, you got to stay with her. Now, for the record, we're not advocating divorcement at all. We're not just telling people, hey, divorce her out. We telling people this. If those situations arise and you do it, there's a law that I think everybody misses in Deuteronomy 24. There's a text within the law that the Almighty never addressed as if it was wrong. The Almighty actually was coinciding with it, and we'll read it, and you'll see why I'm saying when a man do put away his wife for those circumstances, if she don't want to follow the laws, if she don't want to hearken after a certain time, then guess what? It forms abhorrement in his heart and hatred in his heart towards his situation. So now he wants to find him a righteous woman because she's not on board. And how can he now make his household generate within the guidelines of the Almighty if the woman is coming in cooking pork? If the woman is coming in breaking the Sabbath? And now your kids is looking at that as an example, and they hearing you say this, and they seeing their mom do this. It's too much conflict. Why would the Almighty want you in a situation like that?
That's too much division. Too much division under one roof. And then what it does is it trickles down to the children, and that's an even worse situation.
Exactly. So now you in a state of mind like, well, I'm gonna serve you, y'all, and do what I need to do, but part of my household is weakened. And I'm seeing it every day. Why me? You know what I mean? You almost you feel me? You almost in a point where you're ready to just leave. And so it's not talking about that, but what it's talking about in context, we'll get some more. What it's talking about in context is, remember, Paul said, I speak this by permission and not of commandment. So according to the situation, some may not believe what he's saying. Like, wait a minute, if I separate, Paul saying do it like this, but I don't kind of believe that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I'm gonna do it like that. So he's saying, if you have one that believeth not, right? I'm gonna read it again. But to the rest, speak I, meaning to the rest of the people,
Right.
not Yahweh, if any brother has a wife that believeth not, if she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So if she don't believe what I'm saying by permission, hey, just still follow the guidelines and not put her away. Because she still loves you, she's pleased with you, but she's just not gonna hearken to the situation that's at hand
Right.
within his church. Okay. And let me see, verse 13. And if the woman, my bad, and the woman which has a husband that believeth not, if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. So it's the same thing. If he don't believe, if she don't believe, just stay together and work things through.
Right.
As long as y'all know the guidelines of marriage, y'all all right. I'm just speaking about permission. All right. And watch this, verse 14. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife, and the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were your children unclean, but now they are holy. What do that mean? You mean to tell me that Paul is advocating an Israelite man to go sleep with a woman in Buddhism?
Right.
Hey, she an unbelieving wife, she's sanctified by me, or vice versa.
Right.
Else were the children unclean, now they're holy.
Negative.
She's unbelieving. That's not talking about, the unbelieving is not speaking about whether they believe the laws or not. It goes back to what Paul said. I'm speaking this by permission. And when you read the other chapters, you will see that most was saying that the man who slept with his father's wife, they was afraid of those people being put out of the church. And Paul had to say, dang, don't you know a little leaven leavens the whole lump?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? If we don't put them out of the church, everybody gonna think it's cool to fornicate in here and do all this stuff.
Yeah.
We got to bring things back to restoration on this
Right.
marital tip. So, all right, cool. Let's do it. Let's deal with this now. Let's go. Just had to clarify some things with Paul, man. Let's go to Mark chapter 10. So now let's deal with this whole put away and divorcement. Is put away divorcement? Is divorcement put away? While we going here, I'm gonna go on record to say divorcement is put away, but put away is not always divorcement. And the reason why is because once again, divorcement, he showed us how to deal with divorcement. That's only one aspect.
Right.
Then comes dismissal or separation from that point. Once you give a woman a bill of divorcement in her hand, then you send her out of your house, meaning separate from her. But put away is just that. It's just separation. That's
right.
what it's actually what Joseph was going to do with Mary. Like, think about it. It said he was going to put her away privately. Now, if he gave her a bill of divorcement, how private is that?
That ain't private
You
at all.
tell me she was just going to walk around divorced and not tell nobody?
Right.
She was going to probably desire another husband. And as soon as it happened, they was going to let him know, like, wait a minute, ain't you Joseph's wife? Oh, I got a bill of divorcement. Everybody knows now. It's not a private thing. But we can separate privately, like, hey, let me just duck out for a few, get my head straight.
Right, right.
Nobody got to know that.
Right.
But divorcement in its totality, somebody going to find out because she going to desire another husband. And it's going to be like, wait, where are your records? Here it is. Now the whole world got to know. So I'm not looked at as an adulterer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Got to save my tail.
Exactly. So divorcement is not put away or is put away in its totality, but put away is not divorcement. Just like every man is not a father, but every father is a man. All right. We can go on and on. Like every priest was a Levite, but not every Levite was a high priest. All right. So what we at? Mark chapter 10.
Yes, sir. We start at verse 1.
Yep.
All right. This is the book of Mark, chapter 10, starting at verse 1. And he rose from thence and cometh into the coast of Judea by the farther side of the Jordan. And the people resort unto him again. And as And as he was wont, he taught them again. And the Pharisees
Oh,
came
hold
to
on.
him. Okay.
Wait a minute. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Verse 2. And the Pharisees came to him and asked him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife, tempting him? And he answered and said unto them, what did Moses command you? And they said, Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away.
So
And
guess
Yahweh
what?
said, what's
What
that?
we dealing with is um what we dealing with is a recipe of the Pharisees, right?
Right?
And of course, they're asking him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife? And they was tempting him.
Yep.
And in verse 3, he answered unto them and said, what did Moses command you? So we got to keep in mind that the Mashiach was a keeper and a follower of the law. That's why he went
Facts.
back and said, what did Moses command you? The obvious thing to do now is go back to what Moses commanded.
Exactly.
To get the whole,
Get the full
recipe.
understanding.
Right, the whole recipe, the whole understanding. And then they said in verse 4, Moses, so they knew the answer.
Right.
Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and put her away.
And
Go hand in hand. Let's just jump down to verse 9.
verse 9. What therefore Yahweh had joined together, let no man put asunder.
So all he's saying is pretty much he summed it up. From the beginning, it was not so. He wrote y'all this precept for the hardness of your hearts. What the Almighty put together, let no man join asunder or put asunder. All right. In verse 10 through 12.
Verse 10. And in the house his disciples asked him again of the same matter. And he said unto them, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she committeth adultery. Verse
And the
13.
reason, that's good right there.
Okay.
And the reason why she commits adultery is because if you go back to the law, like he said go back to the law, because he wouldn't reference the law if he didn't go by it. So if we just go back to the law where it's written in Deuteronomy 24, it said that you should give a woman a bill of divorcement, send her out of your house, and she can become what? Another man's wife. That's not adultery. That's free from the the law right there. And so he summed it up with this because they were still confused. He said in verse 11, whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery. Automatically off top, there's a separation that we should know. And all it takes is, it's like a numbers game. We look into the Greek word for put away is G630. And you know what it's going to say? It's going to say separate, and it is going to say divorcement, but only the context will let you know if it's divorcement. This context let me know that it was only put away. Why? Because she commits adultery while she's put away or separated. And when she put him away, which a woman cannot divorce a man unless he agrees.
Right.
So that also lets me know it's not dealing with divorcement. When she puts him away and she becomes another man, it says she commits adultery. So one said he causes her to commit adultery. And then the other one said when she go about it and put him away, she committed adultery.
Yep.
All right, so let's go to another one real quick. Let's go to Matthew 5:32. All right, so the put away there was only dealing with separation alone. Matthew 5:32. And this is a big one right here.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ones that's being taught. But we always got to keep in mind, separate, put away. It's just that easy. It's just that simple.
Did you want to start up a couple verses out? Or you want to go right for the point?
You can start at 31.
31? Okay. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 5, starting at verse 31. It hath been said, whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement. But I say unto you, that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving for the cause of fornication, causeth her to commit adultery. And whosoever shall marry her that is divorced, committeth adultery.
Now, we got to read this and glean something from it. 31. it has been said, going back to the law of Moshe, whosoever shall put away his wife, let her give her a bill of divorcement. Or let him give her a writing of divorcement. Now they see the word but here and think he now talking about something totally different.
Right.
But he's still pretty much saying the same thing. These are the same account. All right. Same account that we just read in Mark. Verse 32, but I say unto you that whosoever shall put away his wife, saving or except for the cause of fornication, causes her to commit adultery, and whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. Here, the confusion is, once again, they're instituting put away with divorcement here.
Right.
That's number one. And then number two, it's like three parts. Number two, the part where it says saving for the cause of fornication. They read that and think you can't divorce her unless it's by fornication.
Right.
The way it should be looked at is this. Fornication would indicate and let you know that divorcement is taking place. Meaning,
right.
if you say I'm divorcing her according to the law, and it's because I found some uncleanness in her and stuff like that. Oh, we already know what's understood ain't got to be explained at that point.
Facts.
I now know the reason why you put her away and is looking to solidify the divorcement after that is because she fornicated against you. Right. You have every right to do it.
Yep.
Like, I know that's what follows up with that. Most brothers may say, I forgive her. She fornicated. I forgive her. But if she fornicated and you say, man, I had to send her out, I know the bill of divorcement is coming behind that.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Con.
But the fact that he finished it up with this in the latter part of 32, whosoever shall marry her that is divorced committeth adultery. They read the English word divorce and think, hey, see, this is talking about divorcement. She can't be divorced. If they just looked at the Greek number, it's going to give you the same Greek number that it gave you in in Mark 10. Right. And also in the same in this same verse in 32.
Right.
So it should have actually, read differently, because she can't be divorced she can't be an adulteress according to the law if she's given a bill of divorcement. We can't stress it enough. All right. So now let's do this. Let's go to the law, Deuteronomy 24. We just gonna read verses 1 through 4. So once again, we know that the woman that was put away, the fact that the Mashiach says she commits adultery, we know once again it wasn't involving divorcement. But the reason why he said it's except it be for fornication, you know that if that's instituted, or if that's a situation that happens to happen in your marriage, 9 times out of 10, we know that it's about to look like Deuteronomy 24:1 all day.
Right.
Like, most men just don't have enough mercy to be like, I'll give you a chance.
Yeah.
The Almighty got mercy, but didn't the Almighty say he divorced Israel, the so-called northern tribes, because they went and committed what? Adultery.
Yes, sir.
So guess what it said? It said he put her away and gave her a bill of divorce.
Yep.
So he sent them out in 722 BC and gave them a writing of divorcement. Now they got to find their way back in the cup.
Yep.
So if the Almighty don't got no tolerance, what makes you think mankind, this flesh, got tolerance?
Right.
Hey, it's a famous meme out there, right? I don't know if it's famous, but they said if you had your wife in this position, they had the woman on there, like with her eyes squinting, her, she was feeling it. They said if he has your wife in this position, go ahead and get her out of here.
Hey, I've seen that before. They crazy.
Or something like that. And it's true though. Like,
yeah.
You can only imagine how you can only imagine. Go ahead and give her her pardon paper.
Please, yeah. Expeditiously.
You know what I mean? But Deuteronomy 24:1. We may just read this and deal with like one more and we out.
Okay. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, starting at verse 1. When a man had taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he hath found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife.
Right, right. So the Mashiach never changed the law. Remember, he said in the same
Never.
chapter, I never he said I didn't come to abolish the law. I came to fulfill.
Yes,
So that
sir.
means this is still standing. So you know he's
Still.
not deviating from the law. So it can only mean one side of the spectrum when he
Con.
say put away. And
Con.
and so yeah, so she can be another man's wife. Now, before we read the next verse, this is what I was saying as far as a woman going inside of her husband and a husband divorcing her for another cause outside of fornication.
Okay.
Like if he is married to her, but she don't want to hearken, abhorrent or hatred grows in his heart. You know what I
Con.
mean? Grows in
Con.
his heart. Now let's see what the Almighty said as far as the latter husband that marries the woman that's divorced. Let's read that. Verse 3.
Con. Verse 3. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement, and giveth it in her hand, and sendeth her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled, for that is an abomination before Yahweh. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee for an inheritance.
So through thy precepts I get understanding. That's who she can't marry. She can't go back and marry the former husband that divorced her.
Con.
But she can go and be another man's. And guess what? When she went and became another man's wife, he hated her. It didn't say why he hated her. Just follow the letter of the law.
That's
He
it.
hated her. So now they will say, well, the first husband can't hate her. It can only be no. What if the first husband hated her and wrote her a bill of divorcement? It
Right.
would be no different from verse 3. And what if the
Con.
second husband divorced it because he found
Uncleanness.
infidelity?
Yeah.
It would be according to verse 1 and 2.
Yeah.
The letter of the law is not, it's not reading. We're not reading into the letter of the law like you can't do this, you can do this, because we're seeing certain words.
Right.
Just follow the guidelines of the law.
That's it. That's it.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, what you do, if it's not honored by the outline of the law, you know what I mean, then you will be doing things according to your own will.
Con.
You know what I mean? And the Most High do give us times where we can have a preference, such as the dietary law. The Almighty told us we can eat clean meats and not eat unclean meats. Guess
Right.
what? I'm not a consumer of either one.
Right.
Did I break the law because I'm not eating what the Almighty said we can eat? The Almighty didn't command us that we should eat it. He just said these are the meats that you know what I mean? Or he didn't
If you
command us like eat these meats or
right.
else.
Right.
He said, like he said,
If you
he's
want to eat
suggesting
meat,
that
these the ones that you can eat.
these are the ones.
Yeah.
But you don't see vegan being a vegan nowhere in the text. It's a preference.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
just like that's a preference, this can fall on them same guidelines. Like, you know what? This woman is raising hell, and my children is seeming to follow after her. You know what? I know that I can raise my children. I'm better off raising my children outside of this situation than in it,
Con.
because they looking at me like, shoot, you ain't saying nothing about it.
Right.
And every
Right.
time y'all do talk, it's an argument.
Yep.
They don't know whose side to take. Predominantly,
Right.
the government gonna make them take the woman's side.
Con.
You know what? For the sake of me trying to find a righteous woman, and I hate her, and I would rather her just go about our way rather than it go elsewhere. I
Con.
just write her a bill of divorcement, man. I don't love her like I used to.
Con. Because you
I
got
mean,
to think
we
about
not
it this way
promoting.
too. Like that man sitting in that house, like you said, it's hatred growing in that man's heart. That man growing bitter. It's all of these different things, and you know how spirits travel in packs. So you know what I'm saying. You got all this hatred, you got all this bitterness, and ain't no telling how that can erupt on the children. Like it's a trickle down effect. So like you said, rather than continue to live this way, it's better off to just go ahead and give her a bill, a divorcement, put her away. You know what I'm saying? And you know, pray the Most High, you know, bless you to put you in a situation where you can raise your kids with you You know what I'm saying? And the kids until he bless you with another spouse, and then you do it that way, because it's a trickle down effect if you stay in that situation, because it doesn't benefit anybody.
Yeah. That's how we know Paul wasn't talking about when he said the unbelief, he wasn't talking about two people on different pages as far as, honoring the Almighty.
Con.
You know what I mean? That's why we got Amos 3:3. How can two walk together except they be agreed?
Con.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can't.
Yep.
And then the Mashiach said, what concord has Baal in the Mashiach? You know what I mean? Light and darkness. What place of establishment that got these opposing sides and they connecting with one another like the sides that agree with everything?
Right.
It's not going to work. So,
Right.
like into a marriage, you gotta be your marriage. You gotta have your marriage like Ephesians 5:26.
Yeah.
That's not baptism, by the way, but the scriptures say through the washing of water by the word, your marriage is sanctified that way. It's cleansed that way. You know what I mean? So the latter husband hated her and gave her a bill of divorcement. She can't go backwards, but she can go be another man's after that, just like when the first husband put her away. So the third husband can hate her too. The fourth husband can hate her too. We're not promoting hate your wife. We're not promoting none of this. But this is why we say in our community guidelines, court with a woman and get to know her. Court with a man and get to know him. Because you don't want to get far into your marriage and then these stuff start coming up and you like, I don't know if we should do this. You know what I mean? The Almighty said it should be like how it was in the beginning, and don't go away from that. Don't deviate from that. So you got to go with an ultimate game plan, man. And we can get more scriptures. I got some more scriptures and stuff like that, but we'll save it for a later date. I think I want to go into these comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, check the comments. I'll see they in there going too.
Yeah. Let me see. So let me go up some. Because hopefully I answered some of the questions as we was going through. All right, so Rashonda, she said, so it's verse 5 basically saying during fasting and woman's time, one certain month, or just to set apart time for fasting and prayer. Yeah, we're just talking about fasting and prayer only, sis. Yep. Most people have a certain way they do things. You know what I mean? Like most people, probably in these churches, I ain't looked at the history on how they prayed and stuff like that. But if it's generally speaking, most people may have need a space of time, like, hey, 30 minutes. And then 30 minutes for prayer, hour for prayer. I've done it before. You know what I mean? So during that time, you just tell your spouse y'all don't want to quarrel what y'all doing, especially fasting too. Like, hey, we're gonna just fast for 24 hours. And you know what I mean? It's best to not get into your flesh while you're doing it, because you're trying to open up to the Ruach. You know what I mean? Open up to a couple things that the Most High want to do for you or whatnot.
If I can land back on what you said, I think that also, I mean, even though, you're in covenant, you married, there still has to be a level of physical discipline within your flesh. You know what I'm saying? So like you said, when you're coming together for fasting, it might be one. Let's say the husband is saying, babe, Most High, he's calling me to fast, it's just going to be for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just seeking him on some things. I really feel like the wife should respect that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, your body ain't yours, his body ain't his. But in that particular situation, you give way to, like you said, to the Most High. You give way to the Ruach to have his way, because at the end of the day, if this man is saying that the Most High is calling him to fast, he's the head of the house. He got to lead the house. The house got to be led effectively. So you got to let him have that moment with the Most High. And, if he's led by the Spirit, then it'll be in a time frame to where y'all can come together so Satan won't have no room to enter in.
Yep, Con. So Ray said, Ray, you're going to have to clarify what you said. I'm 64 years old. Can I just get out there?
Oh, I think he was talking about when we was talking about hooping.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, cool. So Rashonda said, so as Hebrews, if it's like that, the husband isn't following the laws or unbelieving, is that the same Is that the same? Shall husband and wife stay? All right. So once again, that unbelieving, what he was dealing with was with the church of Corinth, and that unbelieving wasn't speaking, along the guidelines of believing in two different ideologies or anything of that nature. All right. Uh I'm just trying to go through, and if I didn't answer like y'all comments or questions or whatnot, you know what I mean, feel free to just jump back in and clarify or whatever. And because I'm trying to go through them real quick. So Jay Black says, so should a Hebrew wife slash husband not in the truth do this? Um, Kind of caught his comment late. I don't know what he's referring to.
I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he was talking about back in First Corinthians. We talk about how the unbelieving husband, you know what I'm saying, or the believing husband and the spouse is unclean, and she'll be still clean or whatever. I think. But Jay Black, if you're still on, definitely clarify. But I think that's what he's referring to.
Okay. You talking about the whole not coming together because of fasting and praying?
Nah, let me pull it up. I know we was in let me see,
we're talking about
First
for the
Corinthians 7.
unbelieving husband is sanctified by the believing wife.
Yep.
Else were your children unclean and now they are holy.
Yep. First
So
Corinthians 7. Yep.
This is how I like to answer a lot of Paul's writings. Where is that at? 2 Timothy. Hopefully this sums up a lot of stuff when people ask, like, should we be doing this today and stuff like that. Once again, Paul was not writing to other Israelites. All right. So Jay Black, I'm not sure if he was on. We opened that up with that statement. Paul was not writing to other Israelites. So we're not saying that we can't take Paul's words into consideration. All we saying is when Paul say stuff like this, head wraps. When he say a woman shall cover her head while praying, and a man shall uncover his head while praying and prophesying, that's not a law given to us.
Right.
So therefore, if a woman wants to cover her head, then that's just what she want to do.
Right.
And it has to just be looked at as like a tradition and not a law. So when Paul said that, he summed it up by saying, we have no such customs in the churches of Elohim. So he's telling these people, when y'all dealing with this whole, should a man cover his head, when praying and prophesying, all this stuff, these letters. And during that time, you can actually go and purchase a Haley's Concise Dictionary. It'll kind of give you the history about that chapter and what went on in the church during that time. These women were ashamed to walk around with their head shaved. So when they went into the churches, they covered their heads to remove like being shamefaced. And so he actually mentioned that. He said if a woman is shaved or shorn, meaning her hair either cut low or cut bald, then let her be covered. For it is a shame for a woman to be shaven or shorn. You know what I mean? And then he said if a man had long hair, it's shame to him. Like, does not nature tell you that it's shame for a man to have long hair? So they actually was having that little dispute as well. Like, men having long hair, they was kind of getting ridiculed. But he brought it back to nature. And the only thing that I can see him referring to is when Absalom had long hair, like real long hair. It said he cut it, you know what I mean, like once a year, and he weighed it, and it weighed like 7 pounds or something after he got done cutting it.
Right.
But one year he didn't cut it and let it grow super long. So when he was running from his atrocity, he got his hair caught up in the trees, and they found him, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, there go Absalom. Like, we got him.
Right.
And one man was like, yeah, hit him with the spear. And the man was like, nah, I ain't gonna do it. And they ended up killing him anyway.
Right.
But that's nature telling you that it's shame for a man to have long hair, because the nature was the trees that his hair got caught up in. All right. I know we clown, like in modern time, we clown people for having like long hair that's permed out, stuff like that. Right. It ain't talking about that particular nature or whatever. We just kind of made that up. You know what I mean? All right. So dang, what's the scripture? I was about to go to it. I think it's 1 Timothy. Or is it 2 Timothy 3:16?
Yeah. 2 Timothy.
I'm gonna read it. So this is what I like to use when dealing with Paul's letters or anything. Second Timothy 3:16. All scripture is given by inspiration of Elohim and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness. So all scripture, meaning Paul's letters, was included in our scriptures. So we can take principles that Paul gave and say, you know what, Paul talking about the law here. We might want to hearken into what Paul was saying. He's spitting game right here.
Right.
But if it's something where he told the church of Corinth to do, we don't teach that as a law. We don't teach that as, you know what I mean, something that we've ever done and take it as such. But guess what? It's profitable for doctrine. Why? Because when we put it in its proper context, now people have to understand it. It's profitable for reproof. Why? Because when people say this is what we should be doing, we can reprove that and say, no, we shouldn't be doing it.
Right.
All right. And correction and for instruction. So when Paul said the law was holy, just, and good, we're going to go right behind him and big him up. The law is just, holy, and good. And we use it and not throw it out. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let me see. Harry, please address the statement about how it was said, what was given to us for the hardness of our hearts, as that is usually referenced to imply Yahweh Shah was changing something. Okay. So, let me go. I didn't go to this scripture. I didn't go to this scripture, right? But if I can remember, I think it's Matthew 19. And that's a good, I'm glad you brought that up. That's real good. All right. All right, cool. Matthew 15 and verse number 3.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 15 and verse 3. But he answered and said unto them, why do ye also transgress the commandment of Elohim by your tradition?
Right. So, hold on, shoot. Wait, what I say? Matthew 15. I meant Matthew.
Yeah, did you 19. On 19?
Yeah, my bad.
Oh, no, you good. You good. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 3. The Pharisee also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
Mm-hmm. So the same scenario that he's dealing with, right? The same situation, but we got more of the context. They asked him more in this. Their question had a little bit more edification to it than the other questions in the other passages. So they said, putting away his wife, should a man? Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? And that would be the reason why the precept was written, because the Almighty designed marriage to be done in a he designed it to be done, you know, where you don't put away your wife or i.e. divorce her and so on and so forth, right? But we still just looking at the term put away.
Right.
And so the Almighty was just showing it, or the Mashiach was just showing us that for the hardness of your hearts, this precept was wrote so that you won't just walk freely and abundantly, just putting away women and divorcing women for every single issue.
Every little thing. Yep.
Every little small thing, people walking around now like, hey, now you got the law that's instituted to now make you yield from doing it. Like, you know what? I don't know if I want to go through this process, writing a bill of divorcement, you know, X, Y, and Z. So I'd rather just kind of hold off on it and stuff like that and wait on something else to come up if it come up. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's not nothing really against divorcing, but the precept had to get wrote to reassure people like, hey, you know, this what you got to do. And I don't think a lot of people gonna want to keep doing this because that's a whole lot of stuff that you got to deal with. I mean, divorcement has a whole lot. It just comes with like a whole lot of baggage.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, stuff like that. So, you know, so
if I can land back onto that, like everybody know their situation is different. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, the law had to be put in place for Israel. But I think if we bring it up to modern day, like the Most High know our hearts, right? They deceitfully wicked and all this other things. But you have to be able to, I think it's all about spiritual maturity. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's not perfect. You know what I mean? Marriage is supposed to be forever. You know what I'm saying? And it's one of them things where if you really have to look at the depths of, you know, what's going on in your house, whatever issues is going on in your house, and every little thing ain't a cause for divorce, because neither one of y'all are perfect. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody's is a work in progress. Everybody's still working, and you just have to be in a place spiritually, you know what I mean, to be able to discern, and you have to stay in a place of prayer. You know what I'm saying? Because and again, this is just my opinion. You know what I mean? You're gonna work through some things, you're gonna grow through some things, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have issues, ain't nobody growing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody growing. There has to be some type of growth. There has to be some type of spiritual maturity or whatnot, because what are you going to instill into your children that's coming behind you? But then you do have those situations that, you know, they just cross the line. They're violations, and you have to make that decision. But every little thing that comes up is not worthy of divorcement. And you honestly, I feel like if you have some guys in Israel or some women that are some brothers or sisters that's moving like that, like you said, it's a lot, and you really setting yourself up for failure if that's how you moving.
Right. And so that's right on. And so too, the context was when he said the hardness of your hearts, the context was talking about us in general,
Yeah.
but he had to institute it to the Pharisees and Sadducees because these individuals were always around, and to be a Pharisee, it just means to be like a strict adherer of the law.
Right.
I mean, a strict adherer of the word.
Right.
So these individuals, when certain things would get, when they would read and see certain things in the scriptures, they would deviate from it. They would understand it, but deviate from it.
Right.
So therefore, this precept was written for people that want to deviate from what the Almighty was commissioned us to do from the beginning, which
Con.
was come together and be with each other forever. That's why they say stuff like till death do us part.
Con.
But
Yep.
we know that men are going to deviate strategically and be like, I'm gonna write a bill of divorcement, or I'm gonna just put her away and not ever deal with her. Now we gotta have a precept written behind this, like, hey, quit putting away these women without giving them a bill of divorcement. You're
Yeah.
causing them to commit adultery.
And
Here
their
go the
blood gonna be
precept.
on your hands.
Right. Here go the precept for the hardness of your heart is just putting them away for
Mm-hmm.
every cause. Now here go the precept in which you should go by. Just follow the law and write her a bill of divorcement and keep it moving.
That's
So
it.
that's kind
That's
of
it.
what I'm speaking about as far as like I said, in context, the put away still was
Con.
instituted, but to a group of people that want to deviate from it and stuff like that and say, I'll just put her away and keep it moving. But it's like, what do the law say? You can't deviate from the law.
Con.
Just give her a bill of divorcement and let her be free.
That's it. That's it.
Um, this has happened to a lot of our sisters. Few of our sisters share the testimony, like, yeah, he's trying to keep me trapped. I'm just saying, just give me a bill of divorcement and let's keep it moving.
That's
But
wicked, man.
you want to do whatever you want to do and marry another woman and not be not be looked at as an adulterer.
Right.
But you want to keep me trapped, and all I'm asking for is a bill of divorcement to let me be free. Your heart is hard. So
Exactly.
let me be free. Like Pharaoh, when he told Pharaoh, your heart is hardened, let my people go.
Literally. Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
So so yeah, man. Hallelujah. I say each need to accept their lane and stay in it so as not to disrespect each other. Ephesians 5:2-24. Yep. Yep. And so that Ephesians 5 and 21-26 is sanctification of a marriage. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you missed it, man. You smashed him, bro. You missed it. Nah, you ain't miss it, man. I hit you up. I hit you up after. You ain't miss it. Yeah. So yeah, man. I don't see any more comments or whatever, man. So I mean, we
This
just
was
gonna
good,
count each
man.
other down.
I would just
Hallelujah.
hallelujah. The last thing I'll just say, man, for those who did not see either this past week or the week before Shabbat lesson on the on understanding the writings of Paul, please, I implore you, I beg you, please go back and watch those lives from 2 Shabbats ago, because you want to get the first one before you get the one we did yesterday on yesterday's Shabbat. Please go back and watch those lessons. And I would honestly ask that before you watch or after you watch, pray. Pray to the Most High that He give you revelation. If not now, before you watch it or after you watch it, that He give it to you at the appropriate time. Have your scripts ready. Take notes, because we know what the scriptures say about Paul's writings. People get tripped up to their own destruction. And if you think about it, it's been happening for centuries. People have been getting tripped up on Paul's writings because there is no context. And a lot of us, and even myself, I came out of the Christian church. A lot of us who was awakened to the truth have come out of the Christian church, and because of that, we had a very skewed. We were taught in a way that allowed our vision to be skewed when it came to the writings of Paul. So now, I mean, these last 2 Shabbats, man, was so good and so edifying to me, and I'm speaking on it because I believe that everybody who's watching us now who did not watch those lessons, they will be tremendously blessed by those lessons, man. It will literally change the way you view everything after Acts, everything. And so yeah, I beg y'all, man, go back and watch those 2 lessons. Stay in prayer, and just let the Most High and let the Ruach speak, and get your meditation on, because it's gonna rock a lot of y'all, just like it did me. It's gonna rock you, but it'll be to the edification of you and to the glory of the Most High. So just wanted to say
Yep.
that, man.
Definitely, man. So definitely, y'all, man, continue to govern your spirit and His walk. Y'all ain't in it alone, even though it's a solo dolo walk. You got brothers and sisters surrounding you. You know what I mean? That can uplift you. You know what I mean? The Mashiach said to Peter Simon, when you get converted, go strengthen your brother.
Con,
You know what I mean? Because Satan desiring to shift you is weak. So
con,
y'all know this walk get 2 times, 3 times, 100 times harder when you find the truth versus when you in darkness. When you come
con,
into the light, this walk get way harder, more temptation abound because your eyes is open.
con.
So we have
Yep.
one another to build on, man. We have one another to, feast with and feast upon and stuff like that. So definitely go and watch them lessons like the brother was saying. And we pray that everything that came out tonight from 7 o'clock to now was edifying. I mean,
Con.
and just pray
Hallelujah.
that the Almighty continue to keep the zeal within us, you know what I mean, and keep our eyes and ears open, that we may be able to catch everything that He's trying to pour into us. Keep edifying the people, man. So we salute to y'all, man. We say, we pray that the Almighty continue to govern and cover your households and stuff like that. And until next time, we'll chop it up and deal. So shalom, shalom, y'all.
Shalom,
Hallelujah.
shalom. Hallelujah.